It's the Regular Joe's podcast 600th episode spectacular. Brought to you by Fanboy Collectibles, the place to go for all your action figure and pop culture collectible needs. They specialize in action figures and statues from all your favorite science fiction, comic, and movie franchises from the best companies like Hot Toys, Sideshow Collectibles, Exo6, Funko, Iron Studios, and more. You can check them out at fanboycollectibles.com or check out their store in Newtown, Connecticut and tell them the Regular Joe sent you. Also brought to you by From Dave's Workshop. Don't leave your favorite movie props or collectibles just sitting on a shelf. Protect and highlight your valued collectibles with a custom designed and built, museum quality display stand, case, frame or custom plaque from Dave's Workshop. They will work with you to design the perfect display that suits your item and your budget. You can check out examples of their work at fromdavesworkshop.com or email them at fromdavesworkshop@gmail.com. And now, we proudly present the Regular Joe's podcast, momentous, historic, monumental, and you might even say inevitable, episode 600.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
I'm Todd Pleasant.
I'm Titus Welliver.
You see, we said episode 600 was going to be special, and thank you, Titus, for joining us. It's awesome to have you here.
It's a pleasure and privilege to be here, as always.
Yeah, we had Titus on about 15 episodes ago. I was actually talking to friends about it. Big Bosch fans, by the way. And, you know, we had a great time at Terrificon talking to you about collecting. And we didn't get to talk to you about this afterwards, obviously, but we were shocked at the depth of your toy collecting and knowledge, which was such a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was pretty amazing. And we didn't come up with anything that you either weren't familiar about or knew as much as we did about. It was pretty amazing. So
It's a misspent youth, or I should say, a misspent adulthood. But
Yeah,
you know what? I make
Yeah.
no apologies.
Nor should you.
Nor will I ever.
Good.
You're one of
Good.
us.
But yeah, you
But-
went deep on G.I. Joe and Matt Mason and Sea Devils. There's not a lot of people who dig
and the
that
thing
deep.
that got me was like we kept hitting things that like one of us was into, but you were also into like the Aurora models. You were also into
Which,
that.
by the way, since we're live and talking here, I just wanted to say thank you, Barry, for the absolutely amazing Hunchback of Notre Dame, which has a very, very special place right next to the rest of the gang.
Well,
Beautiful.
I was happy to send it to you. I'm glad that it got there in one piece, and I'm glad that it is joined the ranks of your Aurora model collection.
Well, I went down the rabbit hole when I was showing it to one of my sons. I said, "Well, you know, there were two different boxes. One was Anthony Quinn, and the other one, and you know, then of course we had to watch the Anthony Quinn
Yeah.
Hunchback of
that's
Notre
great.
Dame, which, you know, it's I don't think Charles Lawton and Lon Chaney. I mean, Lon Chaney for obvious reasons, but Charles Lawton's Hunchback is just, and also, you guys remember Classics Illustrated Comics?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a great comic of that as well. So it was that was sort of the perfect storm at that time. Aurora was doing all the monster kits, and Classics Illustrated was coming out with you know, all of that stuff.
My dad brought home a stack of Classics Illustrated that a yard sale or something like this, whole stack of them. And I read every single one of those front to back 4 or 5 times. To this day, there are certain things where I have to stop and remember whether I actually read the book or whether I just really read, like I've never read The Count of Monte Cristo. But
Yeah.
I can picture every panel from, from that. And it's just, those were awesome. They just did a really great job.
It was a good workaround. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, I was probably, I don't know, 7 years old, and I remember talking, I'd be talking about Great Expectations and things like that, to which, even adults would be kind of looking at me like, "Whoa, you're reading Dickens? Are you kidding me?"
That's funny.
It's like I didn't want to disabuse him of the idea that I'd actually read the book itself. But what kind of a genius way to expose, young minds to classic
Oh,
literature
and for that
and
era,
comic book. I went back and revisited recently and was looking at it, and they're really good adaptations.
oh,
A
they are.
lot of it is
Yeah.
dialogue taken directly from the book.
Y- You,
And they don't leave anything out, so it's not like Cliff's Notes where
Oh, really?
right.
I thought they
it's
were a little more condensed. I hadn't read.
No, they're actually pretty detailed. And
the
one of the things
yeah.
you got to think that given who was writing comics back in those days, people who tend to have were grossly overqualified, but weren't
Oh yeah.
finding work. Okay, and so, weren't finding what they considered legit work. So a lot of those people were lit majors and things like that, and doing those adaptations. So yeah, no, they're terrific.
Were you a comic book collector as a kid, or that's the whole thing, like how collecting and why collecting, and I have a hard time putting my finger on the why for me, but I'm curious, where did it start for you?
Well, my brother Silas was 6 years older than I was, so I was exposed to music, pop culture, and comics, that were very, very, very early. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when most kids my age were listening to the Partridge Family and the Archies. I was listening to Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix, and it didn't mean that I wasn't into the Monkees and the Partridge Family and everything,
Yeah.
but having an older brother, so I was reading Creepy and Eerie magazine. I was reading all the Marvel
Yeah.
um, titles, and so really at a very early age I had my go, and I went all over the place. I mean, I was sort of bounced back and forth between DC, and of course we had Batman was on TV,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of it was kind of inescapable. But even in a really early age, I would seek out certain comics based on the artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I loved Kirby. I think that's everybody,
Yeah.
Kirby and Ditko. But then my mind was completely blown when I discovered Gene Colan,
Yep.
um, and Gil Kane, who still to this day remains,
Yep.
one of my favorites. And I would read titles that, I mean, Doctor Strange, when you're a young kid, that's pretty esoteric, kind
Mm-hmm.
of out there stuff. But Ditko's work was so great. And then when Poland came in and took it over, and the whole blue head sequence and everything like that. Um, yeah, so I was really into comics, and as I said, I was one of those really anal retentive kids who took care of their stuff. Um, a lot of it being because I would save up and buy it myself. It wasn't
Yeah.
like I got to, or if I got a good report card or something like that, birthdays, I would my my parents would reward with toys, or but we I would go with my brother and with all the other kids and line up, or for when the new titles would drop.
Yeah.
um but I think as an adult, so my father had a house fire
Oh,
in
yeah, you
night,
mentioned that. Yeah.
and that really is, I mean, you want to talk about Freudian. I mean, that whole sort of fantasy regret loss thing. So all my comic book collection and all of the toys that I had as a kid, which I'd taken good care of, but I wasn't playing with toys. They were boxed up. They were put
Yeah.
into an attic away, and I don't even know at that point if I was thinking, "Oh, one day I'll give these to my kids." I'd just completely forgotten about them. But then later, as you sort of take an inventory, um, you realize the depth, and maybe it's a generational thing. I think because the quality of stuff was better then. It had what's that great, the guy from Hasbro? What do you call it? Or Kenner, play playability,
Yeah. Yeah.
or no, toyetic or something.
Toyetic,
Oh.
yeah.
Yep.
Um, but And I think I told you I was literally there was a shop on the Lower East Side called Love Saves the Day,
Yeah.
which was a vintage clothing store, and I saw all these 1960s GI Joes, and they had the Kenner Alien, and that's where it all kind of kicked off, and it's just gotten progressively worse.
Better. It's gotten progressively better.
Yeah, and it's funny because I like all kids of my well, not all kids, but a fair amount of us of my generation, Aurora models, MPC, Monogram, all those companies, rainy days, that's what kept you sane, or from driving your parents insane. You know, if there was a snowstorm, or if it was, days and days of a deluge of rain, you know, my mother could take me to the hobby shop, get a couple of Aurora kits, and I would, get high as a kite on that tester's
Oh yeah,
glue, and
Yeah.
good stuff.
yeah, really good, really good stuff.
And I think it's great that you can pinpoint it back to that going to that store that day, because I had a similar experience. I've told this story on the show before, but my best friend growing up all through elementary school and high school, when his parents were selling their house, we all still lived in the same neighborhood. He invited me over. He's like, "Hey, my parents want me to get rid of all this stuff. Let's go play with it for the day, and we'll box it up." And so we spent a day going through the GI Joes and the Star Trek toys and the Mego stuff and all the comic books and everything, and we boxed it all up and we brought it to the curb. And I could have taken any of it home with me, but we just spent the day doing it. And it wasn't until a couple days later I was like, clicked in my brain. I'm like, why didn't I keep any of that?
I know.
And then I was like, oh, I just need one thing. And then I just went, I need a one
That
GI
one
Joe. And
thing just
I
yeah.
found the
thing
GI
is just
Joe, and
slippery
here
slope.
we are, 20,
Yep.
40 years later,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
One
Yes,
of,
it's spending $500 on a Soldiers of the World,
Yep.
the Japanese infantry guy.
but you got to get a matching one. Everything's got to be perfect, and it's worth it's worth it. I think about this often because when we were kids, well, a lot of things were different, but you watched what was on TV when it was on TV.
Yeah,
There was a whole lot of times when there was nothing, literally nothing to watch. And
No.
we filled that free time in a lot of other ways, a lot of them very, very creative.
yep,
Now, whenever kids want to be entertained, there's a thing there readily available to entertain them at any moment, and they can pick and choose exactly what they want.
yeah,
The same thing, and I've also said the same thing with, like, for most of, for throughout all of our childhoods, you saw something on TV or the movies, and then you relied on the mental reel in your head to refer back to that. If your favorite Johnny Quest episode, you could describe to somebody, but you couldn't pull it up on YouTube and show it to them. And
no,
so I think imagination-wise, that makes a huge difference. And it's one of the reasons that our toys today are so much more IP-based, and you kind of come with a ready-made story versus, you were doing, even when you're building your models, you had something going on in your head.
But even like things like Batman and Star Trek and Star Wars, we had to go to the bookstore and buy the art of book or the making of book or the whatever, just to be able
Yeah.
to flip through those pages while we waited 3 years for the next movie to come out.
So
I know. Well, there was right, and no VHS, and also there weren't. If you think of it, like I go back to I'm drawing a blank on the publishing company, but they have like boys spy toys of the 1960s, and and then there's a guy in Selma, I guess, who wrote the GI Joe
Right.
encyclopedia and stuff. And start to look through all that stuff, and when they were republishing pages of from the Wish book from the Sears
Catalog,
catalog,
Yeah.
and you look at that and you're like, a GI Joe Adventure Team Commander 699, you're going like, oh my God.
that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, our
We had
connection
we
to
had
these
those books
objects,
for months before
yeah.
the holidays, and you got to just like dream about
Oh,
it.
but
Yeah.
so our connection with these toys is very different than the kids today. Because, like I said, again, we were building the stories, and we were, they it meant to us in a different way, and that's why I think when you find an old Foot Locker and you open it, that nostalgia is just boom. All those neurons fire, and
Well, it
you're
wasn't
back.
scripted also too. I mean, even if, if you look at the adventure team stuff, they would come with a little comic, 8 ropes of danger, et cetera, et cetera. And there would be the comic, but you never felt compelled to
No.
follow a storyline. And I mean, obviously I was older, but having younger brothers, when the 3 3/4 figures started coming out, when the Star Wars figures came out, and then everything went to 3 3/4, that there was an interesting thing that I noticed, particularly with my brothers, that you had, you know, you had the reintroduction of GI Joe, even though the straight arm guys they weren't that great. I mean, the swivel arm was pure genius, but that you could kind of cross pollinate all those things. You could have and Fisher Price made the Adventure People, which I then found out later on in one of those that great documentary series, The Toys That Made Us, that they kit bashed the original Star Wars figures. They were all Adventure People.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but they had Adventure People had great vehicles, and so
Yeah.
I can remember going into my brother's room, and there'd be a Millennium Falcon, and then there'd be like Adventure People space shuttle, and you'd have the GI Joe whale, and but they would and
Yeah.
lose hours, and even though you had the cartoon that you know had the storyline to it, that to me was kind of a resurgence of imaginative play that had kind of lost its way for a while, because there was that period, you know, where there wasn't a lot of stuff that was out there,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
then the GI Joe cartoon, I think, gave those characters personalities where the GI Joes we played with, we had to
We
give
had to
them
give
the
them the
personalities
personal, yeah.
ourselves. But it was a starting point for the kids that played with those toys. I
Yeah.
don't think they felt compelled to follow the storyline, but they knew who the characters were, and they kind of had the traits of those characters. But then they were
Yeah.
off doing whatever they wanted to do with them.
Yeah.
I,
I
I
was I love that whoever, I mean, it's such a wink, but whoever, was in charge of giving the characters voices in GI Joe, they chose that Shipwreck sounds like Jack Nicholson in
yeah.
The
Yeah.
Last Detail.
Oh yeah.
you know
They have a sense of
You're just
humor.
waiting for him to say to Duke, I am the Shore Patrol.
Yeah. That's so funny. So what do you actually consider yourself collecting? Like, if for some of us it's like I collect toys and I collect action figures and I collect prop replicas and regular props, and it goes on. Do you have a finite thing that, like, I collect this?
No, I don't. I'm kind of all over the
Yeah.
place. I'm all over the place. I mean, I've got some pretty cool prop stuff. The aliens pulse rifle, and Deckard's. I've got a lot of different variations of Deckard's
Yeah, there
pistol,
it is.
and
I
there's the high,
just got a water gun. They make a water gun pistol.
yeah, which is actually really, really good. It's
It was like $50. I have the Tamasuke one, the metal
We,
one,
we both have that
and then
one.
we
Yeah.
were
yeah,
in Rhode
but
Island. As a matter of fact, it's like that's a great little. If you're not going to willing to spend $1,000, that's a great Deckard blaster. Yeah,
Or if you're cosplaying and don't want to walk around with 3 pounds of metal
yeah.
that the security
yeah.
guys may or may not try to take from you.
That's the one I don't have, is the Tamasuke, which is kind of the holy grail. I'm gonna have to, at some point. I'm gonna bite the bullet on
Yeah.
on that one. But no, I'm kind of all over. So there's kind of those, and then Corgi has started to
Yep.
reissue a lot of the cars again. So
Yep.
the Batmobile and the
Yeah.
Batboat and the Aston Martin, and
They're all somewhere right
they're
there.
going to
Yeah, I just bought
Right.
the Batmobile and the Aston Martin.
it's
Barry got me the Batmobile for Christmas last year. So
I have
well
my
they're
originals of those from when I was a kid. I
I
did
have
take
my
care
original
of what my
Batmobile, but it's rough.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
rough.
I do, yeah,
You will
mine's
hear
pretty.
Dave say it over and over again, but Dave has kept almost all of his childhood toys in very good condition, unlike the rest of us that did not.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna yeah, like I still have my original Man from Uncle corgi
Oh, that's cool.
and a couple of the Green Hornets, but apparently they're gonna bring back the Black Beauty
Oh, nice.
Green Hornet, and they're gonna bring back the Man from Uncle
Nice.
um car. They did two variations of that. One was like a kind of a midnight blue, and the other one was white, which I was like, "Well, they never drove a white
My
car."
car, yeah.
But and the Yellow Submarine and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, a lot of that stuff. It's the Corgi stuff. That's kind of cool to see that reissued. I used to collect the company Britain. They made
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
the
Little
soldiers,
figures,
and
yeah.
also the figures on motorcycles. Have a lot of those.
They actually did a really nice line of GI Joe metal Britain figures. I think it
Never
was
saw those.
I think it
I
was
didn't
for
either.
the 40th anniversary, so it was a while back. But yeah, they did a box set of each pilot, sailor, marine, and soldier. Yeah,
Whoa.
look for those. They were very cool. Probably not that expensive right now, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to find those because I remember they did the they did the 3 3/4 box set, which came with the space capsule
Yep.
and had the orange
Yep.
frogman
yeah.
and which was pretty cool. I've got that somewhere sitting in a box with the you know with the bridge play set by Migo
Oh, really?
somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
Nice.
somewhere. But yeah, I'm all, and then of course Sideshow and Hot Toys, and then
Yeah.
there's Damn Toys. There's a 30. There's some other companies that are emerging. I recently picked up a very good taxi driver, Travis Bickle, um, figure by a very obscure company that I'd never heard of. There's another company that's made three of the Road Warrior figures. It's made a very good Max
Hmm.
with a head sculpt that looks like Mel Gibson, with every detail down to the monkey wrench hanging on his
Yeah.
belt,
Oh, nice.
and the
Nice.
dog, and then Humongous, which comes with the big 44 Magnum, with individual bullets, and then there's a Wes. They're all really really well made. Um, but
Yeah.
there's always something.
There's
There's
Yeah.
always
always
something.
Those,
Yeah.
those unlicensed figures, it's really interesting because there'll be two or three companies making the same thing at the same time, and that was the case with the Mad Max. We were looking at different ones. There were like four Chinese companies making different ones
yeah.
at the same time, and you could pick out from the prototype pictures, you could pick out the clear winner. It was amazing, and some of the details and the differences that they did, and some of that stuff is phenomenal. It's just really really great.
Yeah,
So
I've still got I've got a Toys McCoy Indiana Jones,
that's yeah, yeah,
um, which is great. But then when you compare it to the Hot Toys version, I mean,
yeah,
there's really no comparison. But Toys McCoy made some great stuff. I
They
mean,
did.
Yeah.
that I have the one in Dead or Alive Steve McQueen,
yeah,
which is a really good head sculpt, and then another company I can't remember did a Virgil Hiltz from The Great
yeah.
Escape. Um, that's somewhere around, but again,
21st Century did one of those.
Yeah. No, there's another company that did a
yeah,
higher
Yeah,
end one.
yeah. The 21st
yeah,
Century did it with the bike,
Yeah.
with the
yeah,
motorcycle.
with
Yeah,
the bike, which was cool, but
This.
I
This.
love 21st Century, but their head sculpts were
Yeah. They
always
were
they're
just
awful.
terrible.
really,
They're atrocious
really, really
for sure.
wonky. But the accessories were superb. Some of the stuff, better than others, and Blue Box made
Oh
great
God, yes,
stuff.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Their military stuff was phenomenal.
And
Their
they
their
tried
I
to.
mean,
fighter pilots were the best out of
Yeah,
anybody's.
for sure. And
Yeah.
they
yeah,
always tried to sneak in famous actors. Like there's a figure that looks like Tom Cruise. There's one that looks
yep,
like almost everybody.
yeah,
Which
and
is way around. And we would use them. Oh, this is my Tom Cruise figure, even though it wasn't him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, there was a figure. I can't remember the company. I found it recently. It was sitting. Unfortunately, it was in a box that wasn't sealed very well. But the head sculpt is De Niro from Heat.
Oh,
It's
nice.
a,
oh, yep,
but now you can there are guys that are custom 3D printing I have a friend, Rocco Tatameno,
Yeah, I
who's
started
a
following
sculptor.
him. He has some
Yeah,
amazing
he's
sculpts.
brilliant. He's brilliant. He and another friend of mine, Joe Mena. Um, Joe's kind of left the collectibles business, but he's a guy who did the massive Jabba the Hutt for the last big one that came with the throne with the hand
Oh,
sewn
yep.
pillows and everything. Joe sculpted that. I mean, he's a well, I think all those guys are having spent way too much time over at Hot Toys. Those sculptors over there are real artists. I mean, I look at the stuff that they do and I go, if you saw this in an art gallery, you know,
Yeah.
these are not people who just figured out how to, scroll around, excuse me, with a stylus and then make something that's, decent enough to make a 3D printing of. I mean, they're incredible artists. Actually, Rocco did a bust of my character from Mandalorian for me, and he also
Oh,
did
really?
yeah, he did a Bosch. He did a Bosch figure.
Oh, that's
Two
awesome.
actually. He did a Bosch statue that he made for me, based on the season one poster, and also one for Connolly, um, and then a 1/6 scale Bosch, which is really great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now,
Yeah.
are
You
they
need to.
sculpting those, like physically sculpting them, or are they digitally sculpting them, or do you have any sense of their
Yeah,
process?
yeah. They're digitally sculpting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing what people are able to do now, and transitioning from physical sculpting to digital sculpting, and the people that have transitioned, I think, have a little bit of a leg up than the people that have just started doing it digitally, because
Yeah.
they haven't had to deal with weight and gravity the same way
Right.
physical sculptors do.
Yes.
Actually, I got to spend a little bit of time with Phil Tippett and Dennis Murin last year,
Oh,
and
wow.
they were talking about that process even when they were making Jurassic Park. Like the guys that were doing the digital sculpting, they made them go out in the field and watch elephants and giraffes and
Yeah.
try to understand the gravity of it, because you can sculpt anything digitally, but it didn't feel the same, they said, until they actually got them to understand how creatures really walk, and how animals move, and the gravity on pulling them down, and all the weight and stuff. And I think that's one thing that we're losing a little bit for people that are just starting to sculpt digitally and have never gotten their hands on clay and actually
Yeah.
sculpted, physically sculpting.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Joe Mena, he went and studied in the Soviet Union with like master, and then he's was a sculptor for the U.S. Mint. He sculpted coins. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
yeah. So he kind of left the collectibles business to for this very prestigious position as a lead sculptor for the U.S. Mint, which is pretty incredible.
It's
But
interesting that kind of thing has been around. I mean, that crossover has been there a long time. The original GI Joe sculpt was done by
yeah.
someone who did a Kennedy medal, had just done a Kennedy commemorative medal,
Hmm.
and
That's
that's
why they say it looks a
a
little
lot of
like
people
Kennedy.
say that
Yeah.
there's a little Kennedy resemblance in that
Is
image.
that, I'm gonna pull a name out of my ass right now. Is that Norman Jacques?
I think it is.
I think it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's a sad story. There, boy, you talk about bitter, because all those GI Joe documentaries, they talk about the guy who sold the rights, basically came up with the idea and then sold the rights for, I don't know, for
It was
a,
like
a,
a
a
hundred
pittance.
thousand or some
Yeah, was it
small number.
Stan Weston?
Stan
yeah,
Weston.
yeah.
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 Yep.
We've
Yeah,
met
and
all those
his
guys at conventions. But yeah, he got the shaft.
Well,
the
I mean,
big
Don
time,
Levine took all the credit, but there was a whole
right?
crew of people there that really did a lot of the work.
We've spent some time with
Oh
Don
yeah,
Levine. He was a little.
He was a character.
He was very much all about Don Levine.
He's
yeah,
He
he's got
was,
a
but you know what? And you know me, I'm not necessarily one to defend, but I think when they came back around for like the 30th anniversary and they were like going out and telling the story of GI Joe, they kind of needed to center it on somebody, and I think he took that and ran with it.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
big
he
time.
did, but I think it was also. I mean, because when we talked to other people like Sam Spears and people like that, they're they were very clear that Don had very much inflated his role, and I think it's one of those Bob Kane, Stan Lee kind of things where
Right.
it's just easier to focus on a single individual.
Yeah.
You know, and I always think of the Lee Iacocca quote where he said that he didn't like being called the father of the Mustang because he said if that was the case, he wouldn't want to be seen with the mother.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and the box artist too. The
Yeah.
guy Joe Petrucci, was that
Yeah.
his name?
Sam Petrucci.
Sam
Yep.
Petrucci. I mean, the box art for the 12-inch GI Joe stuff was incredible.
And all the Adventure Team stuff was done
the
by a
Adventure
guy
Team.
named Don Stivers. Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm gonna
Amazing.
grab something, but keep talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually got to work with Don Stivers on the GI Joe 30th anniversary poster that the GI Joe Club did.
There we go. Can we
There's-
see
there's-
that?
Oh, come on, man. Is that the original?
That's the original. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't hear what anyone's saying, but
Dave's holding up his
explain
8
what
Ropes
that
of
is.
Danger painting.
That is just. Oh, so
Yeah.
you don't actually live in a house; you live in a garage because
Yeah. It's a funny story.
that
We-
is a.
Yeah,
Love
that's
8 Ropes.
That's
That
the
was a
8
great-
Ropes. That was my first set I got as a kid, but Barry had actually cut a deal where we were able to buy these like years ago.
Yeah, I
That's
got the
original
Adventure Team
painting.
helicopter artwork, and Dave got the 8 Ropes of Danger.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So
Oh, man.
that's when I tell my son, when you throw away everything, do not throw this away. When I'm dead, that's
I
worth
wonder where a
something.
lot of that stuff is.
Well,
'cause
we know a guy
know.
who's got. We know like 3 guys who have most of it.
Yeah.
but it's got to be insanely. Like I always wanted the secret mission to Spy Island. I thought that was one of the great.
Do we know who has
Yeah.
that?
And the Secret Idol
Yep.
was great.
One of our friends who's also one of there was 2 other hosts that do join once a month. He worked at Hasbro for years, but he's a massive GI Joe collector. He's got at least a dozen or 15 of the original artwork.
And they're amazing, utterly amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and I was
So-
saying, I got to work, the artist that did all of them is Don Stivers, and I got to work with him in 1999. We did a poster for the 30th anniversary of the Adventure Team through the G.I. Joe Club, and I art directed it. So I got to go to his house and spend a day with him in his studio. And we basically laid out a collage of sort of the best of the Adventure Team artwork. And
Yeah.
then a few months later, my wife calls me at work and she says, "What did you buy?" And I'm like, "I didn't buy anything. What are you talking about?" She says, "A massive box just arrived at the house." And he sent me, after this was all done, he sent me the original painting. It's actually hanging on the wall right here. That he did. I'll text you a picture of it.
Gotta be kidding
Yeah.
me. Oh man.
Yeah, that stuff is awesome. It's just so, because it's one off. It's the only one there is. I was, it is one of those things where I was happy to have one. We do have, like I said, we have friends who, there's the poster. That's the poster, but not the original.
Yeah, the original's hanging on my wall.
That's
Back
so
up a little,
cool.
Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
insane.
It's got all the characters. Yeah, that's fun.
That's insane. I wonder who owns the original Bama boxes for the because they've got to be out there somewhere. The original Aurora boxes, whoever. I mean, there are a lot of different. I mean, Bama did all the horror stuff, but I have to imagine like the James Bond, the Man from U.N.C.L.E.
That art's been in auctions.
artwork.
In,
Yeah, I've seen some of that show
We've
up
seen
in some
some of
auctions.
the aircraft artwork come up, and we've seen,
There's definitely been Aurora box model art in Heritage. Has a lot of art auctions like Toy Slash. Yeah, they don't go for small money.
So much of that stuff at the time was just considered utilitarian. They used it, they made the boxes, and then they just got thrown in a closet, and a lot of it got thrown away.
Well, most of the original Adventure Team art was pulled out of the dumpster. I mean, there were like almost all of this somebody pulled out of a dumpster.
and a number of these things were painted over, at least partially, for reissues. So when they were changing the box art, they would change the background colors and stuff. And it was
My Adventure Team helicopter artwork was the original artwork, and then in 1975 they reissued all the toys with like an orange color scheme, and you can see where they repainted the background of the helicopter painting with orange paint, and there were a couple spots where the original colors were poking through.
yeah.
Well, that was even like Star Wars. when ILM or whoever was painting the matte paintings, if they needed a piece of glass, they would just razor blade off the old painting and
Yeah.
paint over it. Like, really? Now everything is collectible. Everyone
They
saves
only do that
everything.
with matte painting. Is they did it with actual props from the movies if they needed to because Lucas thought of his archive as a working archive. So while he was making movies, that stuff was all up for grabs, and they would retool things and not thinking 40 years from now somebody's going to pay $3 million for this.
Right. But even before he started putting together the archive, I mean, stuff that they used in Star Wars went back to the company, and they took the guns apart and they made the Stormtrooper guns back into Sterlings.
Yeah.
For the first movie, yeah. I mean, everything, most of the stuff for the first movie was rented from prop rental houses, and it went back.
And went back to be used in When Eagles Dare or something like that. And yeah.
Which is why you're starting to see things popping out of the woodworks now. Like Boba Fett's gun from Empire is in an auction, I think, next week.
Really?
And that's been sort of in hiding for 40 years. But now that things are selling for $1 million and up, things are coming out of the woodworks.
Even there's Heritage, Propster and Heritage are doing auctions of. We've sort of not transitioned, but also now include original props in our collecting. And I do want to ask you about that. But they found original Barbarella costumes still in an Italian costume rental house, like just last year, and now they're going up for auction. They were still on the shelves. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff.
My godfather wrote that screenplay.
Oh, really?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. He wrote the screenplay for Barbarella, Terry Southern.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's where, it's funny because people don't know, but the band Duran Duran, that's from Barbarella.
Yeah, for sure. That's a crazy movie.
It is a crazy
movie.
It still holds up.
It's fun though. It's so much fun.
Does,
I just watched
it's like, have you ever read any of the Barbarella comics? Any of the source material?
I have them all. I've got I think it's IDW or it's another company.
Exactly.
I have the huge copies of them. The drawings are great.
The drawings are great, but the stories are just so. I mean, there's a reason the French invented the word non sequitur. So the fact that he could take that and craft a story that sort of made sense is pretty amazing. Because it was really just a lot of it was an excuse to put really pretty drawings in there. And
well, it's all over. It is all over the place. But Barbarella has its own kind of charm and visually there's a lot of great stuff going on there, but it's wackadoo. It's the opening, I remember going to see it in the theater, and the opening credits, Jane Fonda's like naked for the first 10 minutes of the movie. Now I knew her because she was like best friends with my stepmother.
Oh, wow.
But I had certainly never seen her naked, and I was a little kid. I still have one of the original Barbarella posters.
Oh, wow, which
is pretty cool. There's one that says see her do her thing, which is kind of got a big psychedelic background.
Yes.
And then there's the great artwork with her with the weapons and all the characters in the background. So it's like it reminds me. Clearly, they took a note when they did Green Slime. They kind of ripped off the poster from Barbarella to do because you see Green Slime. I mean,
I remember that. I saw that in the 4:30 movie.
Yep.
It's so fucking awful. It's not it's one of those things where the cover is better than the content, but the Green Slime poster is great, but you watch the movie and I think
it looked like Sigmund and the Sea Monster. It looked like the Green Slime Monster.
It does. Oh, God.
It's terrible.
I haven't seen that in 40 years. It was definitely a 4:30 movie.
There's that one actor who had a really, really serious career, American actor. It's not Nick, what's his name, who did all those Japanese films. His name, he plays a character named Stud Pardee in Walking Tall Part 2. That's not helpful. And he's in The Dirty Dozen. He passed a few years ago, but he was a pretty ubiquitous actor at that time. But he's sort of the star of.
I'm looking at it. Is it Robert Horton?
No.
Richard Jekyll?
Yeah,
Yes,
Richard Jekyll.
yes.
Oh, Richard Jekyll.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
that-
I'm looking at that movie poster now. That's a great
it's very.
poster.
That is a great poster.
I always think of him from Spencer for Hire.
Yeah.
He was Marty Quirk in that.
No,
boy,
he's
that's-
Yeah.
he
he's
did a lot of
great. And
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that guy was. He was in
is
everything.
I don't, not the same kind of thing, but he's on that same John Saxon track where he was just in like every single, all these other,
Yeah.
it was like there was a movie all the time. There was always something that he was in, and
Well, they're
So
supposed to be
movie posters, is that
remaking.
another thing you consider yourself a collector of? Do you have a collection of movie posters?
Yeah, I have in my screening room. I have tons and tons of posters.
Awesome.
Some of them are original one sheets. Like I have original Apocalypse Now
Oh, nice.
one sheet and a Raging Bull one sheet. Those are. I mean, you can get repros
Yeah, no,
super
you want-
cheap. There used to be a store on
14th Street.
there was Fort Jerry Owens
Jerry
movie
Ollinger's.
material.
Yep.
And I bought a lot of stuff from Jerry.
Me too.
I mean, I've still got the poster for Southern Comfort is a great. I've got that. Not one of my favorite movies, Year of the Dragon, but a great poster. And then I've got some pretty sweet Japanese posters.
Oh, yeah.
I have a Japanese Rolling Thunder, which is one of my. As you can see, it's what
Oh,
I.
yeah.
Oh,
It's where it's the name of my house, Rolling Thunder Ranch.
nice, nice. You have your own.
And
Yeah,
we're-
we love the merch. We have all our regular Joe's merch.
Yeah, we're all over
We-
merch.
We when we got Bill Devane to come on and do Bosch, I had a long conversation with him about the impact that film had, and I said, now I'm about to say something that's probably gonna piss you off. I said, but I've been considering updating it and remaking it because I feel like it's a straightforward revenge film.
Yeah.
I said, but it wouldn't be a remake. And he looked at me and he went, "You're the guy for the job, kid. Go do it and have
Oh,
fun."
that is his voice too. That's awesome.
I got Bill
I would
Devane's
have would have
blessing.
thought somebody
Nice.
could do a William Devane, but you just did a really good William Devane.
Yeah, he to work with him. I mean,
Yeah.
forget it. That was pure pleasure. And we were shooting during COVID, and so everybody had to wear masks. And Bill wears a hearing aid, but he didn't want to wear it on camera.
Yeah.
So you've got a script supervisor, and Bill might, he might miss a line, and he'd go, "Line," and you'd hear, and he would look at me and he'd go, I can't understand a fucking word. Did you understand a word? Hey, honey, I'm sorry, darling. Can you come over here and stand next to me? I can't hear a fucking word you're saying. But just to sit across the table from Bill Devane, I literally, there were several moments. The first take of the first scene we shot, I kept missing my lines because I was just watching him act.
Yeah.
Because truly, that film was sort of relegated to drive-ins and things like
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
that film is incredibly well made. First of all, Paul Schrader, can't go wrong there.
Yep.
But Bill Devane's performance in that film, it's incredible, and it's a great acting. It's not like The Exterminator, you know what I mean, where you're or some James Glickenhaus
Yep.
dipshit movie with nothing against Robert Ginty, but Bill Devane and Tommy Lee Jones and Luke Askew and that whole. It's a really it's a solid flick. It's a
I have
super
not seen
solid
it, so
flick.
I'm gonna chase it down now
That's-
and check it out.
That's when I will too. And when the last time we talked to you, you mentioned Outland. We went on sort of a deep dive into Peter Hyams' movies and all that, and we were going to do like a rewatch of.
We want to do a rewatch and talk it through because I don't think people watch that movie anymore. and
Yeah.
it's just it's yeah.
I watch it on average probably once a month, and I just got they
Really?
finally put out a 4K Ultra
Oh,
print,
yes, yes.
which I'm probably going to fire up tonight with my son. I think it's an incredibly underrated film.
Maybe you need to come back and talk Outland with us because
Oh,
I
I
should
would love to.
I love that movie. It's been a while since I've seen it. Dave and I just bought badge reproductions at
Oh, cool. Oh, I saw that. I saw that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
you guys
so
got
They
those.
had them at, yeah, when we were at Rhode
At Rhode
Island.
Island
Rhode Island
Comic-Con,
Comic
yeah.
Con.
Yeah.
I've got my I have a nerd jacket because we for wrap gifts one year they gave us these Patagonia coats, but they said, Bosch season 4 or some. I can't wear something that says Bosch on it.
Oh, come on.
But it was it was a
Yeah.
really good
Yeah.
Patagonia, so I made it my nerd coat. So it's got it on both shoulders. It has the Marshall patches. Then it's
Oh,
got
that's
Oh,
great.
nice.
it has a Nostromo patch on it. It's got a Con-Am patches on it. It's got
Oh, nice.
patches from Space 1999. And when we had the fires here, it was one of the I just grabbed it because it was something quick to throw on. I thought I'd just let me just grab it. And when I was several times when I was coming back through, and they would have these waypoints with the cops who were checking identification to readmit people, into the canyon. And I had that Marshall uh, coat on, and I rolled up, and before the guy recognized me, he was just looking at my coat, and he was starting
Wave you through.
to wave me through, and he went. He said, "You're with the which marshals?" I went, "Oh, no, no." I said, "No, no, no." I had to explain the whole thing to him, and he was like,
Well,
please, I won't say the cop's name, but he said, "Please don't ever tell that story to anybody," because I would get in so much trouble.
when
I'm
we
There's
were
a
surprised that
in Rhode Island,
Wait, wait, wait. I'm gonna
Comic-Con.
wait, Barry. I'm gonna show something. So, as a commemorative 600 episode host,
Yeah.
we do have a regular Joe's vest for you that we're gonna mail out to you with our new logo.
with our
This is our new
600th
600th
logo.
episode patch. You can see
Oh
that.
my
But
God,
there's a
that's
story that goes with this.
so
There's a great story
cool.
that goes along with this.
So I'll
we,
be sending that out to you.
Oh,
we were in Rhode
dude.
Island, and we were at the Mexican restaurant we always go to every year on Saturday night for dinner. And there were 5 of us, and we were all wearing various regular Joe's podcast
With
apparel,
these
all of which have a
vests.
rocket on them.
The vest was prominent. Yep.
Yeah, and so there's 3 women at another table, maybe 15, 20 feet away from us, and none of us even noticed it. But apparently they were like looking at us and trying to figure out what the patch was. So one of them comes over and says, "Are you guys astronauts?"
We intentionally made it look like a mission
Yeah,
patch.
here's a better.
Okay.
Here's
And
a better
so we made it look like a mission
So
patch
cool.
with our logo. And
Yeah.
so, but we have decided that after a lengthy conversation with them that the correct answer when any woman asks you if you're an astronaut is yes I am.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course I am.
It's like of course I am.
Yeah.
It's
It
like
was,
But
it
since
was
we're all
hilarious.
happily married, we're said,
Yeah,
no,
but
we're just nerdy
Yeah,
podcasters.
but
Well, it's but the Outland thing. Just to the art direction in all of Haim's films, no matter what, and he's made some. I think I told you guys the crazy story.
Well, you had started, and
about
I think
about
you met
meeting him.
I think we got interrupted by your manager at the time, but you met him at a coffee, a Starbucks or something.
Yeah, at a Starbucks, he was in line in front of me, and so he's ordering his coffee, and I'm literally right behind him, and he orders his coffee, and he turns around and he goes, "Oh my God, Harry Bosch, Titus Welliver, I'm a big," and I'm talking to him for a second, and I go, "Holy shit, you're Peter Hyams." And he goes, "Yeah, yeah, Peter. We have you're friends with Stephen Bochco and David Milch, and I'm surprised our paths have never crossed before." And and I went, we ended up sitting down
Oh,
because
wow.
I started to talk about Outland and Capricorn One
Oh, I love
and
Capricorn 1.
Silent Running. But he's the guy. In all honesty, um, that whole thing of stuff in outer space having age and distress and looking
Yeah.
like it was real. I mean, Peter kind of pioneered that, and even the just I've had, I don't want to say arguments, but where people go, well, the helmets in Outlands are total ripoffs of the helmets from Aliens. I was like, yeah, well, you know what? These guys were all between, Ron Cobb
Yep.
and these guys were all working, had
Yeah.
either worked together or there's a lot of stuff,
Well,
and
Roger
Pete
Christian
Boyle.
worked on Alien and Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you guys have all seen Jodorowsky's Dune, right?
Yep.
Which
Yep.
to me is, I mean, I go crazy when I watch that because I think about that which could have been, but the uh Outland, um and it's funny because like Outland and Blade Runner, those films, they didn't do very well. There's one of my favorite, but once again, that, and Jim Sicking, who plays the
Right.
corrupt
Yep.
cop, that all made sense to me because I was like, oh shit, yeah, Peter puts him in all of his films because he's in Narrow Margin too,
Yep.
but he was one of Stephen Bochco's best friends,
Hill Street
and
Blues.
Jim was a good friend of mine. But there's a great thing where Frances Sternhagen, she plays the doctor, and she's kind of uh perfunctory with him, and she says, take 2 aspirins and call me in the morning. That's a doctor joke. And then and Connery says, to her, I'd like these I want all these papers put together. I'd like to report by the end of the day. Otherwise, I might kick your nasty ass all over this room. That's a Marshall joke. And I'm just like, if a dude said that to
Yeah.
a woman
Yeah.
in a movie now,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
the editors would go, we can't use that.
Yep.
That's
Well,
so
When
good.
you look at the male female relations in almost all the James Bond movies, you couldn't
Oh.
you couldn't do most of that today.
Is it pretty much? I was going to say any Sean Connery role.
Pretty
Yeah.
much
Prior,
any
prior to
role.
the last decade and a half of his career. But
Well, he wasn't exactly. He and Jack Palance weren't known for their
yeah.
their their
Yeah.
their great respect for women. There's funny, many years ago, and this is when my father lived in Maine. There was a painter friend of his named Kathy Porter, and she was very much a feminist, and rightfully so. But Octopussy had just
Yeah.
come out, and there was a little town near my father's, where my father lived, Belfast, Maine, and they had Octopussy on the
Yeah.
matinee, and she took it upon herself to get a stepladder, go into the town of Belfast in the middle of the night, and take down some of the letters and spray paint "cock." So it said Octocock. I guess you could call that an art installation.
There
Yep.
you go.
Yep.
Nice.
Talk about balls of steel, man. She didn't give a shit, but that always,
Those
I always
posters were
think of.
vandalized all over the country. There were people that spray painted over them in the cases and whatever, but that's probably the most creative thing I think I've heard done with that.
That's so funny.
Because there was a big kind of feminist backlash to that. And again, it was a 25-year-old
Different
title
time.
at that point, and it didn't age well.
No.
So
No. Well, also, look at some of the cast. Also thinking it's like, Steven Berkoff
Yep.
is the drugged out crazy guy
Yeah.
who everybody remembers from Beverly Hills Cop as
Yep.
Victor Maitland.
Yeah.
Yep.
The villain, and the guy, John. I can't remember John Ratzenberger. He's the guy that goes crazy in the beginning and says, "There's spiders in my suit," and unhooks himself and his head blows up.
Right. Yep.
He's also in Star Wars.
Wait,
He's
wait,
in
that's in
He's
Outland?
in
Empire
Empire
Strikes Back.
Strikes Back.
Yeah, he's on a Hoth base.
Yeah,
Jeez. Yeah, he's
and
I bet
he's
he
the
was-
first guy who loses his shit.
I don't remember
and-
that.
and
Did not
I have to
remember that.
rewatch that.
Yeah.
I have to rewatch
Unplugs his suit. Yeah, no, Outland is it's great. You know, it's High Noon in outer space, but and then you got the other dude, the other assassin who was in Long Good Friday, and he's in
Yep.
Jaws 3. He has the scar that comes down over his eye. That marvelous English actor who was a real knockaround guy. Yeah, but yeah, after we should all do the 4K Ultra screening and then
Yes.
do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Oh, I'd love that. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
I haven't seen Outland probably in 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
oh really?
It's been,
You know
for
what?
me, it's been at least 10 years for me. So yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
And turn it up loud because it's the sound design is really really good. I don't know, just sort of everything about it.
But
The
I like
art
all his.
direction.
I even watched what's that one with Billy Crystal and the two cops running scared.
Running
Oh, right,
Scared.
I don't know what I was doing. I'm like, I need to
Gregory Hines?
have some. Yeah, Greg Hines. That still kind of holds up.
Jimmy
That-
Smits.
Yeah,
Joey
Jimmy Smits.
Pantoliano is in that.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's good. I
Billy-
like 2010.
Yes.
You know.
Oh, 2010. I think 2010 is great.
Yeah, I do
Once
too.
once they get into space, when they get away from the dolphins and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
But I mean, John Lithgow, Bob Balaban is fucking amazing. Everybody's great, and of course, you know, Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic sequel. People shit on it.
They do, and there's one of our other hosts loves it. He actually has John Lithgow's jumpsuit he bought in an auction from there. He's a huge 2010 fan.
I took a girl on a date in high school to the movies, and we started watching 2010, and she protested so hard that we snuck out and went into Beverly Hills Cop, and I've never seen 2010
Really?
since
You
then.
should have you should have dumped her.
Well, it didn't last very long, so
Okay.
And that's now my wife.
Clear. Yeah.
I don't know if that's on 4K Ultra yet, but you can definitely get it on Blu-ray. But 2010 is great.
Yeah, 2010 is good. And even
It-
Time Cop, as much of all the Van Damme movies, Time Cop is the best one, and that is a Peter
Yeah.
Hyams movie.
Yep.
Yeah. Now Peter, you know, he makes great flicks. He makes Narrow Margin is really good. You know, Sicking is a great villain in that, and you got Ann Archer and Gene Hackman. It's a good flick. And Capricorn One.
I
you
love
know.
Capricorn One. I think that is. It's shocking that it's a TV movie. It's so well done and it's interesting and it's that's a fun movie.
I had not I had seen that first on TV. I had not realized that was TV. Oh, okay.
I must have I probably rewatched that a few
No,
years ago.
I don't think that.
Really?
Are you
Maybe
sure
I'm
that
maybe
was
I'm
a
wrong.
TV?
I could
I
be
think
wrong.
that's I think
No,
that's
that
a
was a
theat-
theatrical release.
Was it?
There's too many big actors in that because it's
I could be wrong.
Brolin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
It's
that's
even.
I kind of vaguely
shall not be
remember.
named.
I remember trailers for that. So
You
People
may-
always got it mixed up with Maroon. and I
Maroon
was
is
like,
exactly
no.
what I was just thinking.
I'm like, it's not the same movie.
You're right. It's not a
guys.
TV movie.
Yeah.
I don't know why I always thought that. Maybe because I first saw it on TV.
Boy,
But,
Maroon. I do. Yeah.
Well, they used to make some pretty great MOWs. I mean,
Yeah.
Gargoyles was a movie of the week, and that
Yeah.
and Gargoyles
Yeah.
is kind of great.
Elliot Gould was in that. Jesus. O.J. Simpson. All right. Well, interesting casting, but
Yeah. Well, again, it's
he was fine in it.
No, they were
It's
a
of
good,
a time.
good cast
Yeah.
for its time.
Yeah.
So
That's so funny.
yeah.
Yeah, he had that. Yeah, he had a run there for a while. He was popping up in the Towering Inferno
That's
and
right. The Towering
Right?
Inferno.
the Cassandra Crossing, and
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about him because
Yeah, right.
He's such a but yeah, no, there was something. There was another. Well, those films just didn't. Some of those films. Same with The Thing. You know, The Thing didn't do well.
Yeah.
And
We
Now
love
it's like
the
a
thing.
cult-
We-
such a
we-
cult
We absolutely
classic.
love it.
oh, it's in my top. I mean, Blade Runner, Outland, The Thing, they're in my top 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, where do you fall on? If you had to choose one,
Yeah.
Alien or Aliens? But you can only pick one.
Alien.
Okay, thank
Really
you.
interesting. The crazy thing is, I was thinking about that question to myself just yesterday.
It is a tough
Why
one.
I
It's a
don't
tough
know.
one.
I'll
And
tell- for me, they're too. they're just they're two different
Well, they
genres
totally
to
Absolutely,
are.
me. Those
absolutely.
But
films.
that's the tricky thing about it is they really are two different genres. They're two completely different types of films, but they are in a franchise. Not only in a franchise, but they make the franchise. I mean that is the and but yeah, yeah. I'm the
Well, Alien works on the same. Alien to me, first of all, there's I love Aliens. Don't get me wrong.
yeah. Me
I've
too.
seen every different
Me too.
iteration of the
Yep.
film.
Yeah.
And I think I have a lot of friends. I'm like friends with almost, all the cast of Aliens. Alien work. There's a Ridley really leaned into um, naturalistic acting. He never wanted anybody to comment on anything,
Yep.
and so in the same way, that's why The Thing, to me, I recommend The Thing to young actors. I'll say, watch The Thing, and they'll go, "Isn't that a sci-fi movie?" And I go, "Yeah, technically it's a sci-fi movie, but the reason that that film works is all of those guys that are in that film are New York theater actors. They're all top shelf, with the exception of Kurt Russell, who
Yeah.
was technically already an established movie star, um, because nobody ever comments. There's no like Little Rascals like "Woo."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
um,
yeah.
it doesn't have big and it I just think that that film is incredibly well crafted, and the acting in it, and that's the difference. Like I I want I consider Aliens to be an adventure. Alien I think of as just kind of a straight, suspense.
Right. Yeah.
I think of it
Thriller.
less
Yeah.
as a science fiction film and more as a suspense thriller. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think of it as a horror film.
Yeah.
And I'm really partial. I get why Cameron. I just watched that new documentary.
Yeah.
I get why Cameron wanted to kind of differentiate, but the original Big Chap is to
Yeah.
me
The
is
great thing is
and
we have both of them, which is
Yeah.
awesome,
We have
and they
both.
are
And
so
that's it.
completely different.
And the
Unfortunately,
thing
we have 5 others, but
the thing with
Did
Alien,
you like Alien Earth? Did you guys
we
like the
liked it.
show?
we
Yeah,
liked it.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's the thing that I liked about that, and I give Noah Hawley a lot of credit for that, is we've seen so much. The first
Yeah.
movie, what was it? What you didn't see was the most terrifying thing until
Yeah.
it wasn't. Okay, until what you saw, and the second one, Cameron had to work with that. Everything was out of the box. Okay, so
Yeah.
it was all revealed. He had to make something. He had to make something more of it. This, we're even further down the line. You've seen all the stuff.
Yeah.
So now they had to craft a story around it with all the bits that you don't know. Okay, tie it all together, but still make it terrifying. And the idea that a little eyeball with tentacle
That
legs
freaking eyeball.
could be scarier
Yeah.
than a xenomorph is incredible.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so
They did a nice job with that, and
they really did.
Romulus. Did you see Romulus? Alien.
Oh yeah.
Romulus.
No,
I think Fetty did a great job with that.
Yeah,
look, and I think, have you guys seen the new Predator flick yet?
We
just
talked
did.
about it on last week's episode. Todd and I saw
Yeah.
it. I really liked it. I thought they did
I liked
great.
it too.
yeah.
I just saw it yesterday. I said to my son, "It's the feel-good Predator."
But it's been hokey for there's been a lot of not great ones, and that one really just it has it's got action, it's got comedy, it's got a good story. I think Ellie Fanning is fantastic in it. I
Fantastic.
mean,
Yep.
She's great. She's really really good. No, I thought and but I think
Prey was
is
great too.
Yes.
but it was is really kind of phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have not seen that, so I
and
actually jumped off the bandwagon after the first one because I kind of looked at the others as like a cash grab.
yeah, I can't. I mean, I can watch AVP. I can
Yeah.
watch those for guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
I'm a huge, I'm a Dark Horse
Yep.
fan, and the Dark Horse, Mike is a friend of mine, and I think he's a I think he's a fucking genius.
Yeah.
I don't think people give him enough credit for all that, for his contribution. You want to talk
Yep.
about a guy, if you want to, drool and then move to vomiting,
Yeah.
when I'm having Zooms with him,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, hold on a second, I'll be right back," and then he comes in, and it's an original Frazetta.
Yeah.
Jeez,
Oh
nice.
I don't know
God.
if you guys have
Oh
ever
God.
talked to
Yeah.
Mike, but he'll
No.
literally be like, he was like, "Yeah, God, yeah, I was, yeah, Will Eisner and I were, we were talking, and and Will and blah blah blah, and and he talks to me. He's like, oh yeah, Frazetta and I were having lunch this time, and we're, we have projects together, but we talk about the work for 3 minutes. The rest of the hour of Zoom is him telling me, stories about, all of my heroes, and of course, his house is literally a museum. He's like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah, here's some original Bernie Wrights, and here's, Bernie's Frankenstein. Here's some of the panels
Oh,
from,
jeez.
yeah.
Like
Wow.
Guillermo,
There's
yeah.
a,
Well,
there's a
you're that for
Frazetta
us, so
there's a Frazetta going up for auction in a couple of weeks. That it's a Conan Frazetta that Kirk Hammett from Metallica is the current owner of, and
Fuck.
it's got an opening bid of $10 million.
Yeah.
like,
Oh, let's talk about Guillermo for a second.
yeah.
Frankenstein, thoughts?
I haven't watched it yet. I
I haven't seen it yet.
haven't.
I had that was our movie this week. We had to bump it for the Predator movie, but that will be next.
So tell
Yeah,
us your
let's.
thought. None of us have seen it, but what did you think?
Well, I don't want to spoil anything. I thought, I mean, to me, it's Guillermo's kind of love letter to his muse.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's that the original Karloff Frankenstein is what inspired him to want to be a filmmaker, and I feel like he put it all out there, and didn't rely a lot on a bunch of CG stuff. He actually had them build a practical set on a gimbal of the ship. The acting is uniformly really, really good. It's a very interesting take on the creature. I don't know if you guys remember, but speaking of great movies of the week, there was a miniseries called Frankenstein: The True Story with Michael Sarrazin
Yes.
and James
Yes. Yep.
Mason,
Yep.
which is phenomenal, really
Yep.
good. Um, I think it's good. A lot of people, there's two different camps. I have friends who just go, "Oh, I don't know, it was too long," and blah 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 blah. And then there are other people who just think that it's a beautiful piece of art, but it's like, one battle after another. People, the camps are very divided. You
Mm.
have some people who are saying this is the most genius film that Paul Thomas Anderson has ever made. Then other people go blah blah blah. I think the film is great, and I think Benicio kind of steals the entire film. But I'm a There Will Be Blood and Boogie Nights guy. But
Yep.
Yeah.
no, I think I'd be interested to hear what you think of Frankenstein. I don't, honestly, I don't think anybody can really find genuine fault. If people want to be nitpicky, it also may just be, look, all art is subjective,
Right.
right? So you may watch it and not dig it, but
Just
I
the
think
passion he puts into like this, like you said, this has been his thing since he was a kid. I just can't imagine. And I just rewatched the first couple Frankensteins over Halloween in anticipation of this.
they're great. I did
Yeah,
the same thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
It's
watched.
I
We
love Son of Frankenstein.
That's what everyone says is their favorite. I watched Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. But
Bride is great. I think maybe a slightly better film
yeah,
than
than the
than
original. Yeah,
Frankenstein.
totally.
But Son of Frankenstein is really fucking
That's what
good.
everyone says. Yeah,
You know,
but
it's one of those things where it's going to be impossible to please anyone with a Frankenstein film because
Yeah,
the theatrical films have deviated so much from the original story.
I know.
You go, do you lean more into the source material, which is
Right.
very dated at this point, and very, very slow moving at this point,
Yeah.
and a very different kind of thing, or do you go and that's so you're never going to get critics to agree on it, because everyone's going to. It's like, it's like every time they adapt a Marvel character, you got a certain number of people saying, well, that's not my Captain America, and because it's it's not the thing that they're expecting, which is way too much of what criticism is now, is people having preconceived expectations and not being willing to accept what the filmmaker is doing, and
Yeah, I look forward to it. Guillermo, I mean, I don't talk about a collector. I mean, this guy's collection is out of control. I mean,
Oh no, it's crazy. It's crazy. He's got he's got everything. I mean, that house. Well, it's not. He doesn't even live there. He
he's
can't live
got
there. There's
two and
no
a half
room.
houses. I don't know if you saw, he auctioned off about 300 pieces from his collection not that long ago.
Last month or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I think he.
Yeah, I mean, he owns like all the entire contents of the Acker Mansion or
Yeah,
something too.
yeah.
I mean, he's got he has everything. Which look, I get it. I get it. But that all comes through in the film.
Yeah.
I like the Kenneth Branagh one too. I
Yep.
mean, it has, but then there've been other iterations that were just unwatchable.
Yeah.
Some of them kind of fun and bad. I was watching this terrible guilty pleasure Dracula versus Frankenstein, this
Yeah.
1970s
Yep.
kind of in it. They shot the whole thing in under the boardwalk in Venice.
Oh,
I think it's
jeez.
the last film that Lon Chaney Jr. did before he died. It's outrageously bad.
Sometimes those are fun.
I made myself sit through it.
Yeah.
I just said, no, I'm gonna, because I'd seen it at a drive-in, very stoned in the '70s, and I went, I remember thinking this was pretty good, and then I watched it and I went, oh, it's
Yeah.
fucking terrible.
Oh,
Does
jeez.
that have like really inconsistent day for night things that?
No, you're thinking
yeah.
of Plan 9. That's Plan 9.
No. This I'm saying
this has got
there
a
is a
lot of-
Dracula movie where, like I said, it shifts radically, and I'm not talking about the original Nosferatu. I'm talking about there was where it was like, okay, no, that doesn't work as night, and
They shot most of this though at night.
okay.
Probably for good reason. They didn't have shooting permits.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
J. Carroll Nash is in it. It's really really strange. Some of the sets, and of course it's like go girls with their boobs out getting attacked by Dracula.
I remember this. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, were you watching that as prep or reference? You've got a Dracula project coming out, or is it out?
It's been
already?
out.
Oh no, it came out. It came out.
Abraham's Boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I don't read reviews. I've had people come up to me and say that they really enjoyed it, but they felt, and I kind of agree. It's not a Dracula movie.
Yeah.
It's a
It's a Van Helsing movie, right? I mean,
well, yeah, but it's also kind of an art film. I mean, there's not a lot of blood and guts in it.
good.
It's
I
not-
like horror without blood and guts is what I like. That's what I appreciate about, you don't need it. That's a whole different genre to me, the Friday the 13th kind of stuff. So
It's a super slow burn. It's an adaptation of Joe Hill's short story, and Natasha Kermani directed. Well, she adapted it, wrote the script, and directed it, and it's visually it's beautiful. People, I just think, I don't know. It didn't land for everybody. A lot of people felt that it was too slow. They wanted more. Um, they wanted more pacing. But I'm proud to have been a part of the
Yeah,
film.
it's good.
I think it really came out well. And she's, I would work with her, Natasha, again in a heartbeat. She's a very smart and talented director. But yeah, it did not break the box office by any stretch of the imagination. But
that's too
what are
bad.
you
But
gonna do?
we'll check it out. I know it's been getting some press because around the holiday or Halloween and stuff. So it definitely got some press and stuff. We were curious and we talked amongst ourselves. One of the progressions in collecting, or at least for us anyway. It's like, you collect toys, you collect replicas, then I mentioned this before, you sort of gear towards movie props, which I've been concentrating on more. Is that ever something that you're interested in, or because you're sort of in the business, is it sort of a different animal for you?
I mean, to be honest, a lot of the stuff that I have seen is, I think it's because where my tastes lean into, it's kind of cost prohibitive,
Yeah,
and
no,
I've got,
yeah,
I've got, 3 kids, and well, one just graduated, still 2 kids in college, and I got to kind of,
Yeah.
I can justify spending $225 on a 1/6 scale figure, but I'd be, hard pressed to. Well, it's just, yeah, it's not in the budget. But
yeah,
yeah, are there things that I look at and go, man, would I love to have that? Yeah, I would. But now, like, I have a couple of original master replica stuff. Like, I have the Han Solo and the Jango Fett
Yep.
blasters,
mm-hmm.
and and they're beautifully made. But I'm telling you, man, there's this guy 3D prints and hand paints um for cosplay stuff, and they're really, really
Ooh.
good. Um, I've gotten like a Leia blaster from him. I've got a couple of, I got a Han Solo, just because they're, and I finally got a Boba Fett rifle, which is really, really good. He's a very good painter, so of course
yeah,
they yeah. I mean, if I had proper pockets, I there are definitely, I used to go to those auctions just so that I could look at the stuff. I mean,
yeah.
remember years ago being at an auction, and they had the original King Kong, armature,
Yeah,
Yep.
and I was at another, I think it was a Sotheby's auction, where they had a bunch of Ray Harryhausen stuff,
Mm.
and I'm a
Yeah.
total Harryhausen fanatic. Got to meet him one
oh,
time,
really?
Oh,
Wow.
cool.
Wow.
speak to him briefly a million years ago. There were a lot of people lined up, so it was a fairly brief conversation. But I just wanted to tell him how much, which I think everybody says to him of a certain generation, how much joy those films brought, and the fact that there was a kind of magic to what he did. I mean,
Oh, for
for the
sure.
same reason that I love Phil Tippett. I think Tippett's just,
Yeah.
Well, he inspired so many of the people that went on to inspire us. I mean, that was the conversation I had with Phil Tippett and Dennis Murin. Was they were we had lunch together. They were talking about Harryhausen the whole time, and I was just sitting there listening. And after an hour of that, I was like, "Well, you guys understand the way you feel about Ray Harryhausen is the way we feel about you. Like that's
yeah, precisely.
yeah."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, they took his work and took it to a completely different level. And then, Murin, obviously, you know, with all the computer stuff, what they can do now. But I appreciate. I mean, I love when the CG stuff is, and there's so much of it. But one of the reasons that I loved the Blade Runner sequel was that there are a lot of practical models and things like that,
yeah.
and that's, you know
It does seem like they're
uh,
trying to do more and more of that where it makes sense now, which I appreciate. I mean, even some of the Star Wars series that they've done, they're filming
yeah.
on a volume, but they're doing interspersing it with a lot of practical things too to try to balance the digital versus the
Yeah.
physical.
I think they're moving to more. There's definitely people embracing the practical, effects and different things.
It's all
More,
cost at the end. At
yeah,
the end of the day,
yeah,
they have to balance that. I mean, and you look at, when the credits roll in these films, and you see, it's like, textures alone. There's like 350 people that
Right.
worked
yeah,
on texture.
yeah,
Then you go like, well, okay, I get it. You can't build a one-to-one space station, but Yeah, I really appreciate when I see the practical stuff. It's even in the in goofy shit, um, like Battle Beyond the Stars.
John
Yep.
Saxon.
You know, that's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
I mean, the ships are a little weird. But and what's the other? It's not a great flick. It's not Star Crash. It's it's the one where everybody's worst nightmares. Um, and it's like Sid Haig is in it. Aaron Moran. Um, I don't know.
Right.
And he has like a little ninja star, Sid Haig, and it goes under into his
Yep.
skin. It's very violent. Aaron Moran's
Galaxy
head
of
gets like
Terror.
Yep.
Galaxy of Terror.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Like Joni from Happy Days.
Joni from
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but Robert Englund is in
Oh
it,
wow.
and Cameron was one of the he was one of the art directors or worked in the art department, and he talks about using takeout containers to build the one of the corridors,
Oh, that's awesome.
When you filmed on the episode of Mandalorian that you were on, was that in the volume or was that practical sets or?
That was a practical set. My ship was a practical set, which had a long, long hallway, and then there was the cockpit, which obviously they could fly the front of the cockpit out. That was all practical. So I did no work in the sphere,
Oh wow, that's cool. I didn't
which
realize they
was
built
really
all that stuff. Yeah. So
yeah, that
that's
ship was practical, and there were and they have tons of stormtrooper dummies. Because when the Mandalorians come in, they kill up everybody inside of my craft, and that part of it, and also a lot of the gewgaws and knickknacks and stuff. You can flip switches and things illuminate. More than anything, it was just Pedro Pascal is an old friend of mine,
yeah.
and Bryce is an old friend of mine. So for me, it was the combo dinner of actually being on that set, and also my that's where my kind of nerd eye came into play, because I remember saying to Favreau when I came in, it was season. I started talking to him about Lone Wolf and Cub, which I was kind of surprised that when I would bring it up to people, I would say, "Oh, well, Mandalorian is basically Lone Wolf and Cub in outer
Very much
Oh,
space,"
for
so.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they go, "What's Lone Wolf and Cub?" And I go, "No, you don't understand. It is Lone Wolf and Cub.
Maybe legal has coached them to give that answer.
And then the whole thing, which Favreau, which he was actually very sweet, Grogu's obsession with the knob inside of the
Yep.
ship. He keeps taking it and taking it. And so I said to Favreau on the set, I said, just a quick, and Ron Howard happened to be on set
Oh
that day.
really?
He was visiting Bryce. And I said to Favreau, I got a question. I said, this is probably me with its crazy nerd extrapolation. I said, but the little baby Yoda figure character, his obsession with the knob. I said, "Is that a nod to Mackenzie Phillips in American Graffiti?" And he went, "You're the first guy who got
Really?
that." And Ron Howard goes, "Wait, what?" And he goes, "I'm in that movie," and I didn't pick him up. And I go, "Yeah, you remember in John Milner's Deuce Coupe, she keeps taking his gear
Oh my
shift
God.
knob
So you
off,
put that
and
in there?
he gives it to her to remember the evening, because
Yeah,
she's like an
yeah.
underage kid, and they've been
Yep.
on this adventure together, and he gives her the gear shift knob, and it's this beautiful moment. And I remember when I was watching it, I thought, "Oh, Titus, that is such a reach," but because I also at that point when I was watching it, I hadn't I hadn't done I hadn't done the show yet, so I didn't realize that Bryce was directing on that show. I didn't know that Ron was there. I figured, look, anybody with a modicum of being a cinephile picks up on the whole lone wolf and cub thing.
Totally.
Um, But yeah, that was a giant practical set. It was very, very cool. You didn't have to use any
Yeah,
imagination
I'm
at all.
sure.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's great.
I just want to jump in. We want to be respectful of your time. You know, we're gone more than an
We'll
hour.
go all day, but we
already.
don't want to tie you
Yeah,
up.
for sure.
Do you have a hard out time, or you want to? What do you want to do here?
No, we're good, man. Let's talk about you know what.
Okay, good, good. So back to the prop thing. I'm just curious, what would be your holy grail? So this is again, I'm going to make you pick one. But if you're going to throw one thing on a pedestal in the corner, or it would stand in the corner if it were that large, any idea what it would be?
It would either be, well, the funny thing is, I as much as I think I know, I don't know because we never saw in the film if the cylinder actually swings out in Deckard's blaster or not.
Yep.
Um, I I don't know because he never reveals that. It's not like he opens it up.
Right.
I always assumed that it was something that was an electrically charged pulse weapon that he
Yep.
had, not something that had. I mean, it had projectiles, but it was something. But now that I've got so many, I would say I would love my go-to thing would be to have Toshiro Mifune's swords from either Yojimbo or Sanjuro.
Yeah.
Well, I was just momentarily disappointed that I thought you were going to pivot towards the Blade Runner blaster, because that's exactly what I in my head picked for you was one of the samurai swords. So, yeah,
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 I mean, 100%. It's funny. Somebody recently picked up on it because I haven't been doing much social media of late. A friend of mine reached out and said, "Dude, you have to go on Twitter. Um, there's this person talking about your shoulder roll on Bosch, and has connected it to Mifune in Yojimbo." And I went, no way. I said, it's taken 11 and a half years for somebody to
And you
finally
mentioned it. You mentioned
to
it.
go public on that.
Yeah.
And this person, to which I had to respond, and I said, good eye. Yeah, that's an homage to Shiro Mifune. I said, but also, it was like the big tip of the hat was the fact that Bosch's daughter gives him a Yojimbo
Yeah,
poster
yeah,
that he has in his office. Um, but yeah, so it would definitely be his swords or yeah, anything Mifune related. But to have his swords, and those were really well made tempered swords. Obviously, they had no edge to them,
yeah,
but Mifune was he was a master swordsman. When I say master, I mean you know certainly of that period.
yeah.
He was a kendo yado, and he was that fast in the same way that Eastwood is that fast with a pistol.
Oh, really? Interesting. The
Oh
unfortunate
yeah.
thing with those movies are they probably went back into a prop house and were just,
Oh no, it got
that's a shame.
reused.
I've
Yeah.
never seen anything from those
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I do have in my collection, which is pretty cool, is do you remember the company Alfrex? They made all the
Oh yeah.
samurai
Yeah.
figures.
Yeah.
So Alfrex made the Seven Samurai, and it was seven figures. It's a box set, and Kurosawa's uh, daughter had, because he drew and storyboarded, and she found the original concept drawings and all of the notes for the costumes for the Seven Samurai, which obviously they didn't wear black and white clothing in a black and white film.
Yeah.
The clothing that the samurai are wearing in that film is all really brightly colored, and she found the original swatches of the
Oh
fabrics
wow.
and complete color photographs and everything. And so those Alfrex figures are all 100% accurate to what that film would have been had it been shot in color.
Oh, that's
Wow.
really
That's
cool.
very cool. I hadn't seen those
It's
figures. Those are awesome.
Yeah, I've got I've got them somewhere with a Zatoichi, and Alfrex did the first Yojimbo, which now there's a new Mifune with a really good head sculpt, a
Drastic,
Yojimbo.
the caustic plastic, was it? That's
Yes,
I have
yeah,
that one. Yeah.
it's really
Oh, it's
good.
amazing. It is amazing. And the choice to do the arms, the hands and forearms, brilliant, brilliant. You see,
Yeah,
no, because they made their interchangeable forearms instead of hands,
Oh
so
yeah.
yeah,
that you have all the perfect poses, but you have, I mean, it's almost like an interchangeable statue in some ways,
yeah,
and you have these absolute perfect poses, but you never see a joint,
yep.
and just great.
No,
And that
nothing
sculpt
ruins a
that
perfect
sculpt is
1/6 scale
amazing.
figure more than visible joints in certain cases.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know they didn't do too well in the beginning. I can remember Dragon models.
yeah,
I used to collect a lot of the Dragon model stuff, and
yep.
they did a Vietnam era character. I think he was a Lerp or something, and the head sculpt was Russell Crowe, and he was wearing a flak jacket. And
Oh,
it was
we
the
we
first
had
time
that. I have
Yep.
that figure
they,
upstairs.
Yep.
yeah, they did the rubber skin, and it
Yes,
didn't
Yeah.
that's
it
right. Yeah.
not unlike the Michael Myers mask. It was a magnet for if you touched it with anything but gloves on, it just held dirt and
Yeah.
dust. And I didn't, at that time I was displaying stuff. Nothing was well, I still don't have anything under glass or protected whatsoever at all. It just goes on the shelf, with the exception of the Master Collector blasters, but they come with their own
Yeah.
little
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have their
cases.
own
So
cases.
Yeah. That's why we bought these. We found these new cases that Todd and
That
I
I
know
and
you guys.
right behind Dave are a set of 3 display cases that we just actually found in Wayfair recently. That all of his individual like Master Collector things and all his lightsabers and whatnot were individually on the shelves. And this is just yeah, we finally got there.
Well, when I moved into this house, this was an unfinished space, so I built these into the walls so that I could put
Yeah.
yeah, I
figures on them.
did too. I have all my GI Joes in these walls here. We'll show you a tour sometime. Let me ask you a
There's some
samurai question
permanents. Yeah.
because these guys give me a hard time. And be honest, if you don't like it, what do you think of the Last Samurai? Tom Cruise.
I,
You don't like it?
Okay.
Okay, that's
I,
fine.
I like the film visually, and what's his name? The Japanese
Yes.
actor.
Yes.
Oh, what?
Ken Watanabe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's in it? He's amazing. Um, yeah, I really wanted to like that film
Barry's
way.
smirking like a
It's
jerk off.
I'm
it's
smirking
one
because
more. It is
what
one
Titus is
more
an
I like
version.
that movie. I'm sorry.
Dave
It
is an
it
It is
unnatural
one more version of Dances
affection.
with Wolves that we didn't need.
it it doesn't offend me. It doesn't offend me. And I love the new Shogun. I'm very excited
Hmm.
for the new season.
That's the
I mean,
guy who's
he's my hero. I mean, he to me is the new Mifune.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
He's the sort of the master swordsman in that movie. That guy. I don't
Yeah.
remember his name off the top of my head.
I'm drawing a blank. If my sons were here right now, they would literally be burning holes through me. It's just because I don't take enough Prevagen. But he to me is the sort of second coming of Mifune. There was another great actor who was sort of the equivalent of Steve McQueen in Japan, Ken Takahara, who
Oh, right.
did
Yeah.
a
Yep.
movie called The Yakuza, the
Yep.
Sidney Pollack directed with Robert Mitchum. This fucking staggeringly handsome guy who was also a great swordsman. I mean, there's a great siege scene where Mitchum and Takahara go into this Yakuza house and take everybody out. It's really really good. But now you're
Hiroyuki
driving me crazy.
Sanada.
Yes,
Yeah.
he to me, and I don't just mean because to me, I never saw Mifune's. For me, it was his acting. I never saw him as a Japanese actor. I always just saw him as an actor. His presence on screen I found mesmerizing, and he has that same
Hmm.
quality. Um, in everything that he does. And I think a lot of it has to do with the same thing. Although Mifune could be really big and broad. You look at him in Yojimbo and Sanjuro, and then you look at him in Seven Samurai, it's borderline commedia. His character is so wild and crazy and big and broad in Seven Samurai. He's all over the place, which shows you the range of Mifune's, gifts as an actor. He could be really big. Um,
Well, that actor was in Lost also. Did
Yeah.
you cross paths with him at all on that, or
no,
was that different
I
time?
didn't. I only met a bunch of the cast one day when I happened to come to set. Mark Pellegrino and I came, and they were finishing up a scene with all the regulars. Now, all of my friends were on that show. Lance Reddick, Harold Perrineau. I had a lot of friends, Katie Seagal. Um, but Mark Pellegrino and I and Allison Janney, we those are the only actors that I ever worked with. I didn't I met everybody to go
Yeah.
hi, but
Yeah, those were separate.
You didn't get
separate
out of the
scenes.
cave much. So
no,
Yeah,
I
I mean, when
didn't.
you think back, your episodes were very, very
Kind of bottle episodes. Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of.
Oh, and sorry, Nestor Carbonell, because it was
yes,
that
right.
he had that
With you. Yep.
fantastic his origin episode that I had some really fun stuff to do with him. But other than that, I didn't get to interact with any of those guys, which was a bit of a bummer. And I was there with my late wife and my daughter, so whenever I had time off, we were basically, it wasn't like we went and hung out on the set to watch
We
what
were
they
in
were
Hawaii.
doing.
Yeah.
We were paddle boarding or sitting on a beach somewhere in
Right.
Kailua and Lanikai. But no, I never crossed paths with him. I've never met him, and I will stalk him and meet him at some point. I was at the Wick premiere, and
John Wick.
yeah,
Oh wow.
and
Oh, he was in 4. Yeah.
He was in 4.
yeah, and I was not feeling well after the film, and it was a bummer because McShane was there, and obviously Keanu and everyone, and Fish was not there, but I didn't go to the after party, which was my target of opportunity. But I'm sure we'll cross paths, and I hope we get to work together at
That'd be
some
awesome.
point.
That'd be
That'd
awesome.
be really cool.
I have one of the John Wick 4 samurais up here that I got in a lot.
No way.
Yeah. It's I also have one of the
It's not
last
his- not hero one, but
samurais
it's
up
still-
there.
Yep.
Really?
But
Yeah.
since everyone
It's
hates that movie,
Diminishing the value of the other, sitting in
oh
proximity. But
please. I have sort of concentrated on sort of, lower end props. We met the guy who owns Prop Store at a preview, and he, first question, there was this sort of VIP preview that however we got invited to. And he comes up to me and Barry, oh, are you collectors? Like, the question is, are you like $1 million collectors? And I'm like,
Right.
I'm a day 3 collector when the cheap stuff comes. So that's
Yeah.
sort of, I have bits
Yeah,
and
we
pieces.
were at the. We went to. It was in Manhattan, and they did a preview when they were auctioning off Darth Vader's lightsaber, which
Yeah.
went for what, like 3 million and plus.
Yeah. All right, let's do a little what's in the box. So,
All right.
we talk about a recent acquisition. So, Titus, what's in the box, metaphorically? Like, what's something recently you got?
Okay, so just as I told you guys, I was away on location for 4 months. I got back, and I've been going down the 1960s toy gun tunnel, big time.
Oh, nice.
I just procured several Johnny Eagle pieces in pretty good shape.
Oh, great.
The Magumba rifle and Magumba pistol set with the display thing
yep.
in good shape. I've been getting a bunch of just got the Agent Zero, the Mattel Agent Zero stuff,
Oh,
a bunch
yeah,
of that.
yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So I got the transistor radio that turns into a rifle,
Oh,
and
that's
there's
cool.
a knife that turns into a pistol. And then I got the bazooka, which is a recalled toy.
Oh wow.
Um, it was a bazooka that fired projectile balls. But the thing is that when you pull back the thing, which creates the air pressure, this thing was rupturing kids' eardrums and injuring them because
Put it
it
up to
had
your ear. Yeah.
it has borderline airport decibels, and so Mattel had recalled them. They normally, the one I got isn't in great condition and sort of kind of doesn't really work all that well, but they're, you can find them pristine, um but they're like 3 grand. They're
Yeah.
very, very
Mm.
expensive, but I found one that kind of works. It kind of pushes out a little pump of air. But Kurt Russell did several Mattel commercials, and he did a bunch of the Agent Zero commercials.
Oh
So he's
yeah.
Yeah.
in the commercial. It's huge. It's a black bazooka with a red tip on it, and it's like about that big with a little scope. And then I picked up the Johnny Eagle Lieutenant set with the M1A, and then the 45 with the. So I've been doing the going down that rabbit hole.
That's quite the hole. Wow, that's
We've
awesome.
got
That's awesome, though.
a
And
good
Secret
friend.
Sam. I also picked up a good a complete Secret Sam, which is which because I was a toy gun. That's when we were kids. That's all
That's
we
all
did
you
was
had, of
play
course.
Here,
Yeah.
yep.
play
Yep.
Army and James Bond,
Yep.
right? Which was that was their attempt. They made a pretty cool James Bond attaché case with a bunch of stuff, but that's you know
Crazy fragile
that
too, though. It just did. They didn't.
crazy fragile and
Yep.
crazy expensive.
Yep.
Bananas. But the Johnny Eagle is kind of, to me, that's the creme de la creme of the toy guns. Mattel always, to me, that was, and Mark's made
Mark's
pretty
did
great
good
stuff
too. Yep.
too.
Yep. We've got a
But
friend.
it's Topper. Wait, is it Topper Toys that made? I
Topper.
want to say
Yep.
it was
Yep.
Topper made, yeah, Johnny Eagle. If I,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. Our friend
So
Daryl,
that
one of our co-hosts, is cycling in the same vein you're in right now. He's cycling through, picking up all those same things, and some of them were really, really hard to find because they were so played with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were the best. I mean, they had the cool thing was that they had a projectile, and also they were they were 1-to-1 scale rather than being like
Yeah. Little
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Scaled down,
like
yeah.
I have a bunch of the little Tommy guns that Mattel made, different versions of them. The
Yep.
Planet of the, it's all the same. They just have a
It
different
just
paint
kept
scheme.
echoing them. Yep. Yep.
And then I've got the Mattel made an M16, and I have two of those that are pristine. You pull back the
Yep.
bolt, and those are, and I've got those too. So yeah, I have an armory of
Nice.
of
That would be
Yeah,
awesome
but
all on a wall, like on a grid
that'd be a
on a
cool
wall.
display. Have the
I
cabinet swing
I
open and it's all kid guns.
I would love, believe me, and maybe that's gonna happen. Yeah, I would like to have a wall of like Fanner 50s, all the
Yeah.
different
Yep.
iterations of
It's like,
That
yeah.
would be cool. Yeah, like the
Or you
cabinet.
do like in like the Equalizer or something like this, the TV series, where you have like the mirror that flips aside. It's
Yeah.
really just the
It's all
kids'
toy
guns.
guns. That would be
Yeah.
awesome. That
Yeah.
would be
That'd be
awesome.
hilarious. Yeah.
No, exactly, and they were well made. They were a little bit fragile though, the Johnny Eagle stuff, because they had fake optics and things on
Yeah.
them. But like the M1A, the Lieutenant rifle, it's got a spring-loaded magazine, and you put the rounds in it and everything like that. So you have to be a little bit careful, and a lot of the flash suppressors on the end of them are sort of the typical casualty, and a lot of them don't come with the. But I got really lucky. This guy happened to have one in really good shape, but not insanely expensive, and it was his original
Oh, really?
set.
That's
So
good.
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
it's been since whenever he stopped playing with them, like 1970. It's been in wrapped up and looked after. So it's
That's
pretty
awesome.
cool. So it's the wear and tear of him playing, which I was like, I get it, man. And they were sort of they were the higher end, more expensive version. Whereas you could go and get a Mark's Tommy gun
Yeah.
with a bad machine gun
Yep.
sound for, $1.99. And even the Mattel stuff.
Yeah.
But they have some of the, you remember the show The Wild Wild West? They made a
Oh
really
yeah.
cool thing, which I've been trying to find, which is a belt buckle, and you push a button, and it has a little derringer that
Yes, we
swings
talked
out,
about that.
cap gun.
Yes.
Yeah, which is pretty neat.
We know a
Um,
guy who's got a bunch of original Jim West costumes. And
Green year.
talk about a guy who's not. They are tiny. Remember we saw him up
Oh
at
yeah.
Yeah, they were
they
so
are
small.
so tiny. This guy, I don't
oh,
know,
he was a little dude.
he was a little
Robert
dude.
Conrad
Yeah,
was very
he
short.
he actually bought is a whole long story, but he bought them, and Robert Conrad wanted one back, and he flew out to L.A. to give him one, and he
He
went to
said
his
he
house.
said he would only give it back to him if he could meet him in person and give it back
Yeah.
to him in person. So
And it was
But
got very
this-
convoluted.
You'd be interested. This guy actually has built the sets of the Enterprise in upstate New York. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's the original Star Trek set tour. This guy has
No.
recreated the sets of.
well, so to set the stage,
It's a whole
this
wall.
guy is one of the world's most renowned Elvis impersonators.
Okay, which
And
Really?
he's also runs a company where they recreated all the sets from Star Trek, and they run it. It's licensed by Paramount, and they run it as a tour, so you can go hang out on the Enterprise.
It's pretty amazing. If you ever get to
if you're ever up in
Ticonderoga,
upstate New York, it's
It's at Ticonderoga, New
you
York.
will
That ship.
it
Oh,
will
pencil
blow your
company.
mind. It will
yeah,
blow your mind.
exactly. We've spent a lot of time over there.
We spent a lot of time there.
We actually took a bunch of pictures and made ViewMaster 3D ViewMaster reels of us in uniform on the sets.
Yes.
It's pretty funny.
No
And
way.
notice we
We'll
say
send,
in
we will
uniform,
send you a set because
you
they're
gotta
putting
see
them
this.
out.
You have to see this to believe this.
It's really
amazing.
crazy, but
It's like stepping into '60s Star Trek.
it's not
I mean,
only
it is-
like it's set up like the actual set. The whole way
It's
the
a reproduction of
layouts.
exactly. It's a reproduction of the
they've
final
also got it
version of the
lit
set.
like it would be lit, so you really feel like you've walked into it.
Wow,
It's pretty wild.
man.
We'll send you some pictures, but
'Cause I think they shot that at Desilu, right?
Desilu,
Yeah.
and
And it says, like on the back walls of the panels, it says Desi Lewis stenciled and stuff because they want it to look like the set, and it's awesome. Yeah,
Oh, that's where we shot Bosch at the Desilu
Yep.
Studios, which
Yeah,
is
oh,
now
wow.
the Red Studios.
oh really? Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I always thought that they shot Star Trek on the Paramount lot.
That was before
maybe
before Paramount. No, Desilu. It was a Desilu production before Paramount got involved. I think
yep.
because it was NBC
Yeah.
and Desilu, so it was on
so
those.
She had to. I
that-
mean, yeah.
That would make sense then. That would have been where they would have shot it because it was right there. I mean, it's there on Cahuenga. It was purchased by the guy who owned Oakley Sunglasses, and I think also owns the Red Camera Systems, and that's where we
Oh,
shot
really?
Oh,
all the seasons of Bosch, and now that's where they shoot Ballard.
Oh wow, you were right there when they
Yeah.
had Star Trek sets. You may have been in William Shatner's dressing room.
That's Matt. Yeah, because they've still got a few of the little bungalow dressing rooms, but they've turned them into offices
Yeah.
for the producers. But the sound stages, but those sound stages are busy all the time. I mean, they shot Hateful Eight. A lot of Hateful Eight was shot there, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and there's always something going. I think not Star Search, but one of those America's Got Talent or one of those fucking shows
Yeah.
shoots there. I saw Gene Simmons over there one day. I think he was a guest.
Oh really?
And I cross paths with Gene. Gene coming through.
We saw a
Like
picture
Moses.
of you and Paul Stanley. Was that when you did the Richard Marx podcast?
Yeah, because he, super. What a sweet dude. He was really cool. He was. Richard does it out of his house, and
Yeah, that was a cool podcast. I saw. We all watched that one.
Richard and I are neighbors, and he went, "You're gonna want to hang around," and I went, "Well," I said, "But aren't you?" Because he usually shoots like 3 of those in a day.
Oh wow.
And he went, "My next guest is somebody you're gonna want to meet." So he does. You don't have to ask me twice. And lo and behold, who comes through the door? And I was,
Wow.
what an incredibly cool, such a sweet guy,
Yeah.
super, super cool. I actually just saw Richard in New York. Richard had a gig where he was playing at the Carlisle Hotel, which was
Oh,
super cool.
we were just
He did
talking about going there last
several
night.
nights, and it was him doing, he was doing some great standards. He did some Sinatra, Tony Bennett stuff, and then he was doing some of his hits, but like unplugged,
Oh,
just
wow.
him on the guitar. And Hugh Jackman was there and got up and fucking sang a song with him. And
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, it was a great evening. I'm hoping that they make it
I
an
would totally
ongoing
go to
thing.
that. I had dinner actually in Upper East Side at Heidelberg restaurant. You know, the German
Oh
restaurant.
yeah,
Was there last night. A bunch of college friends, and we were talking about going. This is, when we're 18, we're talking about, doing whatever, doing shots, and now we're talking about going to the Carlisle 40 years later. But I have never been.
man,
I would love to check that place out. But seeing
it's
someone like him would
cool.
be cool.
It was a great evening because it's a very small space, so it's super super intimate. Um, but Richard's, look, this he's a master showman, and it was interesting to see him doing that music that he's so passionate about, but also then him playing some of his own hits. It was an incredible evening.
It sounds great.
So I'm hoping that they're gonna. I imagine they'll have him come back and do it because it'd be great if he would go and do that a couple times a year,
Yeah.
just to install himself there for like a week and do a bunch of shows. Because it's still, I used to go there with my mom when I was little and see Bobby Short,
Oh,
you
really?
know,
Yeah.
and Elaine Stritch, do their thing, and it was kind of I'd have to wear my little suit and tie, and you know, when the waiters had towels draped over their arms, and
Wow.
it was a big deal. I'd get a shrimp cocktail.
That's
Because
funny.
that was all we could afford. But Bobby Short was always there. So yeah, it's a real piece of history.
Yeah,
You know.
that is a cool place. And there's still like who plays there? Like some guy who's been playing there for 40 years still plays there. I can't remember who.
Yeah, I'm
I don't know.
drawing. Oh, Michael Feinstein.
Yeah, him and someone else. Bobby Short's dead, right? I mean,
Yeah, Bobby passed
Yeah.
away
yeah.
several years ago. But there's also, I'm drawing a blank on the name of the bar. There's the Connected Bar there. That's this happening hotspot. Always has been. And it's my generation, and now it's people in their 20s, and coming in there, which kind of cracks me up,
Yeah, yeah.
seeing like young people being in this place, um rather than being downtown at some whacked out after hours place. They're kind of like, ooh, let's do the Upper East Side.
Yeah. That's
um
that's
I
funny.
never would have considered the Upper East Side was not a destination for me. I was like, no, no, Alphabet City.
Oh yeah, back when it was Alphabet City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yeah, move
son
me
had to
down.
went to a party there. He's like Avenue C or something. I'm like, you don't go to Avenue C. Like, no, it's all freaking yuppies now. It's fine when
And that's what my daughter lives on Avenue
yeah,
C. My
it's all beautiful
19-year-old.
now.
Yeah,
You,
no, believe me. When I was a kid, Tompkins Square Park.
oh my
When
God,
I
yeah,
My daughter called me up. She said, "Oh, my wife calls me first, and she goes, "Oh, she's found an apartment. You need to call her though, because I think there's several people that are going to apply for this apartment. So you're going to need to do paperwork and pull the trigger." So I call her up and I go, "Yeah, tell me about the apartment." She goes, "It's blah blah Avenue C," and I go, "No fucking way." I go, "Forget it." And she goes, "Dad, listen." And I go, "No, no, no. It's out of you. It's out of the question. I will not. You will not live in Alphabet City." She goes, "Dad, it's not the Alphabet City that you grew up in."
yeah, totally.
And I go, Where is it in relation to Tompkins Square Park?" "Oh, it's not far at all." And I go, "Yeah, no." She goes, "Just come and look at the apartment." So she's FaceTiming me with and showing me, and I go, I can't get a sense of that, blah blah blah. I got to come and see, and I'm kind of trying to remember like what's the nearest precinct? Oh, it's the '09. But do I know any cops that are? So I've got all that running. So I
Wow.
I I get I I get in an Uber and I beat it down there. Literally walk down my old block. I was on 10th between First and A. I walk down my old block. I'm approaching Tompkins Square Park. All of a sudden, I go, "Oh my God!" There's like violets and
Yeah.
gladiolas, beautiful flower gardens. There's children in a playground. There's elderly people playing chess and checkers. There's elderly people sitting on park benches reading the paper and reading books. There's young people on a beautiful mound of green grass sunning themselves. There's brand new renovated restrooms. There's a fucking swimming pool. I'm like, this was like
This.
when I was a kid. It was Needle Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did not go past First Avenue when I was in college. You just didn't do it unless you were looking to buy
No,
heroin or something.
no. And then in the '80s, it was crack and homeless
Yeah.
Yep.
lunatics. That fucking guy. He used to come into. I used to tend bar. I worked at 7A, which was a bar right there, and this guy who looked like Jesus. He was very tall, handsome guy with long blonde hair and a beard. And this guy like killed his girlfriend. He was carrying her head around. He always had
Jesus.
a rooster. He had a live rooster that he would carry around with him. And he's walking around with a compound bucket. I remember thinking like, what is this guy doing? Well, he had his girlfriend's head in the
Oh my
compound
God.
bucket. He had she went to throw him out. She was like, "You're fucking out of your mind. I want you out." She goes to throw him out. They have a fight. He kills her, dismembers her, and but holds on, keeps her head for a period of time. It basically butchers her remains, makes a stew out of it, and takes it out, and he's feeding it to the homeless people living in Tompkins Square
Oh my
Park.
God.
So there goes your evidence.
Yeah.
You can't make this shit up.
I think we should rename the segment "What's in the Bucket."
What's in the bucket?
I mean, insane. And
That's
this guy
crazy.
I used to throw him out all the time
So
because he
you
was
knew
just
this because this is a pretty famous story. I mean, this is like I've read this.
yeah,
So
yeah. This
you actually knew this guy.
Yeah, I mean, he was part. There were a lot of characters that were sort of, always in evidence, but he was always coming in and wanting to use the bathroom. But my whole thing was like, he was a grub, and also I thought, oh, he wants to go in there and shoot up
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something. So I was constantly, and we did. We had a lot of junkies who were coming
Yeah.
in, being like, they'd walk in, and I go, "Yeah, can I help you?" And they're, "I'm just going to use a restroom," and I go, "No, no, no, restrooms for customers only." Oh, let me have a glass of water. I was like, that's for customers. I'm not,
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way. Get the fuck out. And you had to be rough, right? You couldn't, you know, nowadays you'd get sued for that.
Yeah.
But back then, I'd come around the bar with a bat in my hand, and be like, you can leave like a gentleman, or you can go out, or I'm going to crack your fucking head because people were nuts.
Yeah.
And when I was working the night of the riots, and we had people come running in, and cops came running in, I literally like jumped over the bar. I had to lock the door because people were trying to flee, from the cops and come into our, we've got a full house of customers. I've got a full bar, but I was like, this is what started out as like a little protest turned into a shit
Yeah.
show with
Yep.
bottles are being launched. You had all of a sudden I'm looking and you got mounted cops that are riding through like they're in a Western, with billy clubs. I mean, it was a crazy time, but alas, it is no longer
It's a much
like
nicer
that now.
place now. Yeah. It's safe to go.
It ain't. Yeah, it's very safe. It ain't Disneyland. Sadly, a lot of the mom and pop shops are gone. That place that I got my Kenner
Yeah.
Alien,
Yeah.
that's long since been gone. It's actually in the movie Desperately Seeking Susan. There's a
Oh,
scene where
really?
Madonna goes in and buys a. Yeah, but look, such as onward and upward. It is a much safer area. I mean, I think like any city, right, in the United States, you got to have your head on a swivel at all times. You can't walk
Absolutely.
around.
That's what I.
It's not Disneyland,
Yeah.
but
I've tried to
you know,
explain to my kids the joy that I used to have of going down to Greenwich Village and just going into record stores and shopping and in some of the clothing stores down there. And none of it's
yeah.
there anymore. But that kind of experience just
It's
doesn't
different.
exist
8th
anymore.
Street used to be the place to
Toy
go.
Tokyo's still there. Toy
Toy
Tokyo.
Tokyo is still on
Tokyo is still
2nd
there.
Avenue.
Toy
That's
Tokyo,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But St. Mark's Comics is gone. No more.
St. Mark's
Love
isn't the
Six.
same.
Forbidden
Andy's
Planet's still down there
Cheapies.
too, right?
Forbidden Planet
Planet's still
moved.
there.
It used to be on Broadway. Now it's on.
It's on
Oh,
Broadway. It's still on Broadway.
It's on a
It's on
different
12th.
location. Yeah, on 12th. Yeah.
It's on. Yeah, it's on 12th Street. It used to be. It used to be on 11th Street,
Yes.
across from where the Strand bookstore is.
Yes.
It was on that corner, and they had 2 floors,
Yeah.
and the toys were all downstairs, and the comics were
I
upstairs.
know. I
Yeah,
used to go there all the time.
I lived in that joint. I had a friend who was who did security. I mean, basically he checked bags there, but I could go in and he had an employee discount, so I got
Oh,
like
nice.
15% off of my books. So it was well worth it.
That's sweet. Yeah.
I,
Well, let's keep going. What's in the box? Barry's chomping at the bit. You must have something awesome, Barry. What's in the
No,
box?
I do. Well, you guys know for years I've been rebuilding a vintage Star Wars action figure collection, and I have been doing it fairly slowly. But and I have pretty much everything at this point. But a vehicle that I didn't have, which is shocking that I didn't have it, was the Millennium Falcon. I had pretty much everything else, but I didn't tell you guys. I did recently pick up, and I'm gonna have to step
Oh, in
back
the
to
box,
hold
no
up.
less. Wow.
In the
oh,
box.
nice.
It's in good shape.
Stick.
And it's got a J.C. Penney sticker
Oh,
on
that's
the back
cool.
of it.
Is it? What's
And
the
it's
date?
labeled November 20th, 1979.
Wow.
Now, the significance of November 20th is that is my birthday,
Oh.
which was yesterday.
Right,
as we
yeah.
record this,
Yeah.
But
Happy birthday.
thank you. I got this from the kid who's pictured on the cover of the box.
Really?
No.
That kid had this toy this whole time, and he recently sold it.
Holy shit.
So
That's bizarre.
that's the box, and then here's the toy.
Is it in good
Nice.
shape?
So
yeah, it's in good shape.
had it been played with, or it just
Yeah, it had been played with.
Okay.
It's well played with, but it's complete. And I got a good deal on it. But yeah, the fact that after I bought it, he was like, "Oh, by the way, I'm the kid on the box." I'm like,
Is she
That's
just
nuts.
saying that, or you should get a letter? That makes it worth more. Come
"I
on.
know, I
Did you
should
get
have
him to sign it?
asked him for it. I didn't. I should have asked him to.
You got it on eBay?
Come on.
I got it from one of the Star Wars Facebook groups. The guy was selling it there.
You should
wild.
get him to
I mean, I
sign
can
it.
reach back out to
I'll
him
make,
and ask him.
you
for
want me
it.
to make you a plaque?
You should reach back to him and get
Yeah.
him to sign that, man. I mean, that
Yeah,
would
it's crazy,
actually
right?
be worth chopping up the box and having him sign it and framing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would.
that is cool.
Or
That is
even
really
just make
cool.
a scan it and have
Yeah,
him-
I could do that.
That would
Scan
be,
it.
It was
Have
just,
him
it was
sign
just
the-
wild. that
That's crazy.
The back of it had a label with my birthday on it, which I didn't know until I got it in my house. So
That's bananas.
yeah,
That is awesome. That's a good what's in
Anyway.
the box.
yeah, that's what's in the box.
All right, Todd,
That's-
yours isn't as good. What is it? What's in the box?
So, I have every Hot Toys Black Widow figure. Okay, it's a minor obsession of mine.
Ooh.
There are 9. Okay, there's now 10. The best thing in Iron Man 2 is Black Widow. Okay,
That's true.
and so up until now, we kind of refer to as like the Barbie Black Widow because this is a really early Hot Toys figure.
That doesn't even
And-
look
Yeah.
like her.
Yeah,
Doesn't look anything like Scarlett
does
Johansson.
not look anything
It looks like
Scarlett
Nicole
Johansson.
Kidman
No.
more.
And it's
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah. So, anyways, this is pretty amazing. Okay, I mean this just came out. It was like pretty stupid money, but they did a fantastic job. It's now on par or maybe better than some of the others.
Her eyes look crazy. You got to fix those eyes.
It's
Okay.
really.
Okay. So here's the eye thing. Okay. So Barry and I both ordered this. Barry opened his right away. I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get it. I gotta get to it. I've been really busy with work. So I finally said, I'm gonna do it for the Titus show. I'm gonna take it out and display it. So this morning I got to take it out. The head is separate because the hair is real rooted hair, but it's intensely styled. So the head is in this jar. Okay.
No,
It comes in that jar?
Yeah, the
in
head
this
comes
jar.
separate off the bottom.
That's
So
just like the bar. The
I
Titus
get the
used to
jar
work at.
open, and I'm wiggling the head off, and I'm wiggling, I don't want to snap it. I don't want to crush the curl.
Oh no!
It comes off, and I hear boop, and I'm like, "What was that?" Something
the
bounced off
eyeballs
my
are
desk.
separate moving eyeballs.
Yeah.
So
So we bounced. So one of her eyeballs fell out, bounced on my desk, hit the rug, and then went God knows where. I spent 25 minutes on the floor trying to find an eyeball, and at the same time, because I'm on the floor, I've got a beagle who thinks I'm on the floor to play with him, and he's sniffed everyone, and I'm like, dun, 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 dun. It's like I'm convinced he's going to suck up the eyeball before I see it, and I would go through his poop for that.
Yeah,
You didn't need to go there,
But anyways, it's back in there. I have yet to properly align her eyes, but it did go back in the socket, and I was just like,
her eyes look a little. She looks a little surprised.
that's
She
the
looks a
new
little
artisan
surprised, but
version of
I
Black
was
Widow.
I was imagining calling Sideshow and saying, "Yeah, I just need one eye." And it's like, yeah. So, anyways, but it's an
It's a
amazing
good-looking figure,
It's a great
yeah.
job.
It's a great figure. Yeah.
it is a good figure. It's a really, really good figure.
And this is as nice as the other one was deficient, and so it kind of closes out the Black Widow run perfectly. So I now have all of them. So
She was the first sexy. I remember reading Daredevil, and there was a panel in Daredevil where she was taking a shower,
yep.
and
I remember
there's
that too.
and her body's in silhouette, and I must have been maybe 8, and I
That's
remember
actually in a Spider-Man comic where she
It's Spider-Man.
debuts. Okay, and then
Yes.
she tries to fight Spider-Man. It was
Yeah,
when
it's
she
the-
shifted from that weird like 1950s ish kind of Black Widow costume.
yeah.
And so yeah, that was a Spider-Man story, and then she paired up with Daredevil. So I loved the Black Widow Daredevil run. I thought they were perfect partners,
So good.
and so I've always been a Black Widow fan, and I loved her interpretation of it. And so I have every Hot Toys Daredevil figure. I'll have every one they ever make. But I have every one of her, and then there's none others that I have that many of. I guess I have all the Rockets too, but
You have a bunch of Iron Mans. You don't have all of them.
yeah,
but you have a
well,
lot.
I mean, nobody can have.
I
I,
always
I,
thought-
I have a third of the Iron Man basically.
If you were casting that in the time period, Raquel Welch would have been a
Oh my
great
God, yes, totally.
Black Widow.
Yes, yep,
If they just gave her a little red rinse
yep,
tint, she would have been an amazing
Yeah.
Black Widow.
yep. So
Amazing Black Widow.
yeah. For that era, that would have been absolutely perfect. But like I said, I've always loved the character, and I like what they've done with her over the years. And I think they did a good job with her in the MCU, bringing her in and making
I
her
totally agree.
playing into the regret over her past and that sort of thing. And which was kind of the core of some of the best, more recent comics, and where she's got a lot to atone for. And so
Yesterday we were watching the Black Widow movie. It was on, and
Yep.
we kind of kept it on and left it on the whole. That's an underrated.
oh, it is.
I agree.
It's
I think
actually a really
underrated,
good film.
Oh no, it's good. No, it's good. It's definitely good.
Dave and I have her. Dave and I bought her stunt pistols from that movie. So that's one of the parts
really?
we split up the set of two
Glock
pistols and two
26s,
holsters.
right?
Yeah, they're Glock 20. They're scaled down Glock.
They're
26.
rubber. They're stunt ones. They're rubber.
Yeah, they're rubber
Yeah.
ones. But it's funny. They're marked Glock 26 everything, but they're about 90% scale. So I think she's got really small hands, and so they but it's every mark on it is like a Glock 26, but they're like I said, I have a couple of real Glock 26s, they're that much smaller. So
And he wears the rubber cat suit and
I wear the rubber cat suit with both of them. That's why I need two, one for each hip, but yeah, so
I
that's
can understand that obsession a little more than the Tom Cruise obsession with Dave.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you, Barry.
too.
Thank you very much. I
Oh,
appreciate
please.
that.
Anyway.
This is
So
payback
anyways,
for the
it's-
Last
it's,
Samurai.
Yeah.
This is it's probably the last Black Widow figure they make. It is the ultimate Black Widow figure. It was stupidly expensive. It comes with 64 hands, I think. but it's great, and I'm really, really pleased with it. And
That's a good purchase.
now I just need
That's a
now
very
I
good
just need to
purchase.
get the eyeballs to line up. So
Yeah, you got to get those. I know. I'm sort of a mixed thing with the because some of the new Star Wars figures have
yeah,
the eyeballs, and I got all freaked out because I was like, oh, his eyes are all fucked up, and my son was like, my eldest son who collects sideshow hot toy stuff was like, Dad, he's become my new. We're actually going to do a thing for sideshow. We're going to do a father son pose off.
oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
nice.
Oh, that's great.
Which will be fun. Actually, apropos of hot toys, a recent acquisition. I got the Punisher, the War Machine
Yep.
die cast, which is really cool. I have to
Mm.
say, it's a very very
I
but
love the
no,
diecast stuff.
but no, okay. I know I've got all the Iron Man. My son keeps going like, let's go down there, and I'm like, no, dude, you don't understand. That's going to be a week, and to just to inventory. I don't even want to start cracking those boxes,
Yeah,
but I know what his motivation is.
yeah,
That but the bottom line is that that I live in a house. He lives in a 2-bedroom apartment with
yeah.
his girlfriend,
I
and
I,
I
I
feel
recently
bad
got
enough as it is.
the young Ahsoka figure from the Ahsoka series.
It's a great figure. I got that too.
I got it, but it came with crossed eyes, and so I'm using the stupid little tool, and I ended up and I tweaked it, and I put the head on, I tweaked it, and I put the head on, I tweaked it. Finally, she has the perfect teenage girl side eye look, and that's what it's going to stay. She's she's got that kind of like, that total teenage girl. It's just perfect. It wasn't even what I was intending, but I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's like you think Master Anakin, you think but you don't know. It's perfect. So we're gonna leave it that way.
Funny.
I like that figure. I think that figure's
Terrific
definitely up
job. Yeah.
there with the
Yep.
new stuff. They did a great job. A lot of that stuff that's coming, all the villains, the scum and villainry, stuff is great. It's
Yeah, those are
really
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 cool.
good. Then other stuff that's coming out, the Weak Way and all. I mean, there's some really great. I'm overdue for a trip to Sideshow. Um, they've
Nice.
also I don't know if you guys saw that. You remember the short-lived Spider-Man
Sure.
television TV
Yep.
series? Well, Hot Toys is making
Are they
that figure.
really with those
I just
big
saw
Yes.
that.
with
Yeah, they
those
just
big
published those
things
pictures.
and the rope that comes out of his thing?
Yes.
Oh my, Nicholas
Wait,
Hammond.
wait, wait. You're talking about the '70s
The
Spider-Man?
Nicholas Hammond one.
The Nicholas
Yeah.
Hammond? Seriously.
I gotta get that.
So will there
Yeah.
be two versions? Will there be a guy who's roughly 6 foot and then someone who's like 5'8" when he puts
Yeah.
the suit on?
Yeah. Precisely. Yeah.
That's so
Oh my
funny.
God. I'm surprised they never released it, but you know what? Because I mean, you can get it on eBay, but the quality's kind
Oh
of piss
God, yeah,
poor.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Those
it's
were
not.
and this was like I tried to relate this to like kids watching the Marvel movies. This is what we had. It's
I
like
know.
Yeah.
we this and the Hulk spin-off movies were with Daredevil and Thor and whatever, and they were just, oh God, the Doctor Strange movie is probably the worst of all, and
No, the David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury.
okay,
Definitely.
no,
Yeah.
I'll concede that. Yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah, but yeah.
Painful.
Dave, you got something?
I do have a
You got
what's in the box. This is a prop. It's a small movie prop. This is one of the original cubits from the original Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I don't know if you could. So I made this display for it because it's got like a letter on the thing, and then it's got the Battlestar Galactica sort of little
nice.
patch on the back. So I made it so you could see back in the front.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, like I don't think I have. Do I have anything from Galactica? So I like to pick up little things from all my favorite properties, and this was some guy I actually did some work for this guy. He was selling a bunch of them, and I'm like, I need to have that. So
Somebody's making the
prop
blasters.
displays.
yeah,
There's
we
a-
have
there's a-
that. It's Factory Entertainment.
Yeah.
It did an okay job with it.
Is it all right? Not great.
It's a
Dave's
little bit.
critical about it. I actually like it quite a bit.
It's I like it a lot. it's a lot for the money. It's
It's a lot of money. What was it?
It's a lot of money.
$500?
It's like $500.
Yeah, I almost pulled the trigger and I
It's a
saw the price
little.
and I went,
It's a little toy-like.
I'd
It's
say
not bad.
So were the original
$299. I would have been very happy with it.
It's not
But
a 500.
half
Well,
the price of a
we did
half
get
the
it
price
cheaper.
of a Blade Runner blaster. It's not there. You don't see it.
Yeah.
no chance.
And the
no chance.
stand that came with it is horrible. It's
Yeah,
just
I'll
I
give you
actually
that.
remade the stand for
Dave
me and
made new stands for
and
us.
I make displays for props and stuff.
Yeah.
So Todd and I and Barry, you have the new stand
You
too.
made me
so
one
we
too.
made stand a better
Yep.
stand. If you buy one, I'll make you a stand because the stand is horrible.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot
I mean,
for what
that.
it is.
I want the that's right. Go for the If that's a Deckard thing, and we're talking about moving parts and it's got metal components, then okay.
if this
Yeah.
does
You know.
light up, I don't have
They
batteries.
put
in
lights
it,
and
but
sounds into it.
It's all right. So what are you gonna do?
I know. Hey, look. You know what? We don't fuck around. We're persnickety about this stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not like
again, you like what you like, and you know. So
Exactly.
And it's hit or miss. I mean, sometimes you look at stuff and then, it's like anything else. It's like online shopping for clothing. That's why I'm a big believer in if it's clothing, go into the store and try it
yeah,
on.
yeah,
Because I've gotten more of these things that I see on eBay and the photographs are phenomenal. And
Yeah.
then they arrive. And by then I'm like, okay, well, here's a guy who's 3D printing this shit out of his basement.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
looking to make a problem. But, I won't give the person a bad review, but I'll write them a message back and go, hey, kind of a little bit misleading.
Yeah.
That's not a $125 piece of merchandise. That's $20 at best.
Yeah.
Especially when things
at
are
a
being
garage sale.
manufactured as collectibles. I mean, it's different than something that
Yeah.
wasn't made as a collectible but became collectible later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
I mean,
definitely.
I just yesterday, I'm a guitar guy too, and Gibson put out a Dave Grohl limited edition guitar yesterday. They made 50
Ooh.
of them, but it was $12,000, and it's basically this guitar in white. I'm like, I get it. It's a Dave Grohl,
But it's not.
was
It's just his name on it.
$12,000.
12,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. So
That's it,
my
though.
wife
That's-
was looking at me. She's like, "If you want it," I'm like, "I don't think it's worth 12 grand for a guitar." I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, if you can get Dave to, even if you can get Dave to sign it, but then what you're not going to play it. I mean,
then I'm not gonna play it. Yeah.
you're not going to play it. My son, I have one of Dwayne Allman's SG Deluxes, and
Oh, sweet.
but I in the many moves that I made over the years, I lost the certificate of authenticity, and there's no way to authenticate it. Do you know what I mean? Ultimately, you just can't.
Yeah.
Well, most
So-
of my guitars are things I play. I have one or two that I kind of keep in the case and think of as collectibles, but I never went out and bought a guitar that was that expensive as something that I'm gonna then just keep in a case. Like I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No, I said to my son, I go, look, and it's cool. I mean, it's all worn on the back from Dwayne's belt buckle, and I said, look, the value of the guitar itself, as far as, it's an antique, it's an SG Deluxe, even without I said, that guitar is meant to be played. It's not, so play it and enjoy it. That's
what is that, like a
you're,
62 or 63 or something like that?
yeah. Yeah, I wanna say it's like a 63.
Yeah.
And it's in great shape. So he's just restrung it. He started to play it, and that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Those things are meant to be. But just keep your hands off my toys.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I have this conversation with this guy sometimes. Like, I have enough guitars that they tell me it's a collection, but I don't think of my guitars as a collection.
It's a
because I
collection.
play 'em.
Yeah. It's a
I
collection.
know you
Yeah.
tell me it's a collection, but I don't think of it that way because I play them.
Yeah.
So, Titus, what do you consider? When do you cross the line between having something and collecting something? Because I have like we've talked about this a lot. I think personally, when you have more of three of something and you want more, and it's not like an article of clothing or something, not a practical thing, but
Yeah.
but it's hard because it's Yeah.
Well, it's also they keep making more, which
Yeah.
doesn't make it much. It
Yep.
doesn't make it easy. Look, I mean, if I was a, we're I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I have friends who are watch collectors,
Yep.
and I get it. Those things are like stock certificates. I've got a friend who's got, Panerai watches that are worth, $300,000 and vintage Rolexes and things. And I can look at that in the same way that I have friends that, collect cars. Um, and that's their thing. And it's not, it's, well, yes, there's the financial component, obviously, but there's also, I don't know. I always, I sort of deem that which I collect, right, as somewhat of a harmless vice, in
Yeah.
that, I'm not, I'm not going to have to go out on the lam, um, to, to support
Right.
my habit. But I understand it. It's hard. I mean, my older son, who is the guitar player, he's got, he's probably got about 10, 11 guitars. But like you said, he plays them all.
Yeah.
So he doesn't consider his guitars, he considers them his tools.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with
Yep.
that. I totally agree with
I
that.
mean, he treats, look, he cleans them up and he looks after them like it's a car that he's driving all the time. But he uses those things.
Mm.
He'll send me a new piece of music and he's like, "Oh, yeah, see, hear this guitar lick here. That's I'm playing that on a Telecaster through a Xbox. This, you know, effects box. That's this guitar part's the SG. This is the Stratocaster here. This is a
Mm.
Ibanez 6 string bass. Like, you know, he has all of. He's got all that stuff. My dream is to get him one of the original, because you can find them still pretty pristine, or is an original Moog synthesizer.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
Um,
nice.
yeah. That's cool.
but I think, look, with anything, it's not like, look, we all love our Hot Toys stuff and blah 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 blah. Um, you know, they kind of come out of the box. I sort of look at them, sort of pose them out, and then, unless they're going on the shelf, I put them back in the box, and they go into a closet. I've got very little stuff on display right now.
Is there a goal to have them on display at some point, or buy like another house like Guillermo and
Yeah,
or
yeah. I mean, I would like to, in the dream world, I would like to have, you know, a structure. It'd have to be, it's not something I can buy at Home Depot,
yeah.
to put all the stuff in. But yeah, to me, it'd be really cool to have my screening room. It has shelves, but it's filled with Marvel Omnibus and all of,
Yep.
like, giant coffee table books.
Yep.
Um, I don't know if you guys got these books, but the two books just came out a couple months ago. One's the all the work of Sid Mead, and the other one
Oh,
is Ron
nice.
Cobb.
Nice.
Mm.
So it's
Oh,
got like
no.
a Ron Cobb's concept stuff for a lot of different films. Um, but yeah, I'd love to have a just a building that is dedicated to my shit. So where I could literally have that toy gun wall, and
Yeah.
then display all of my Hot Toys stuff, and have my coffee table books, have the props, you know the all the Aurora models, because the Aurora thing, that gets really tricky.
Yeah.
I was looking the other day, because you recall, they had the great moments in sports, and there's this guy, Lefty Maki, out of Toronto, who does has done other pieces for me, and he's got the Dempsey Furpo fight, and it's absolutely beautiful piece. It's got Jack Dempsey knocking Furpo into the ropes,
Wow.
and you've got a referee kind of
Oh wow.
standing. And they did that. They did a Johnny Unitas, a Jim Brown, a Babe Ruth,
I remember the Babe
um,
Ruth.
and Jerry West. And I think that's it for the sports, great moments in sports things. But again, very, very cool. So that would be my, yeah, to have my own
A
sort
lot of
of
people
little
don't realize when they hear
museum.
Aurora, they think that all they did were like, creatures and horror characters. It was such a varied line of model kits. It's kind of amazing. I mean, they had JFK model kit, and they had
Oh yeah.
all these
Well, they,
other things that you don't associate with Aurora, but it's wild all the things they did.
well, people, all the different ethnic ones they did, people from China, and they had the
Yep.
Dutch, the Dutch boy and girl in traditional garb, and the Chinese woman, and and then you had all the animals, the bighorn sheep,
The
and
buffalo
the
and
and
Oh,
the
the
that's
yeah.
cool.
buffalo and the bear, and yeah, they were all over the place, and then it wasn't until the 60s that you got, Dick Tracy and Tarzan, and what was it, originally it was just a cowboy, and then they changed it to Jesse James later on. They would change the
Yeah.
box art, but I think Tarzan originally was Sansom, and then
Oh
they
wow.
remarketed it when
Interesting.
the Ron Ely
Oh,
Tarzan
the
Sure.
TV
Yep.
show
yeah,
came
yeah.
out. They remarketed him, and he's doing the pounding of his chest. But or maybe it's just the base, which is the lion dead with a knife sticking in
With
the
the
side
knife
of
in
it.
it. Always, as a kid, it always amazed me that they made a model of the guy that just
Yeah.
stabbed the lion to death.
Slain lion. Yep.
Well, it's what's interesting is that the Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man model, which is pretty cool, it's Kraven the Hunter on the ground, and he's webbed. And when MPC bought the rights from Aurora to re-release those, Lone Ranger, Tonto, Spidey, Cap, Hulk, um, and Superboy, to name a few, there was a pistol that was on within reach of Craven, even though he's unconscious in the model in the sculpt, and they removed the pistol um, uh, in a recent re-release. There's another company that's doing them. It's not Polar Lights. It's somebody else who's now also doing
I know
their.
Gary,
Atlantis Models is doing a
Gary,
bunch
is
of those.
that why the Red Skull had nothing in his hand when you did Cap and the Red Skull?
No, that's just the way that kit was sculpted. That wasn't a reissue of
Oh,
anything.
okay.
It was
Okay.
that came out, I think, in the '90s or in the
Okay.
early 2000s.
Okay.
That kit.
Good to
Yeah, they never made a skull. They did all the DC things. They did Wonder Woman, Batman,
Yep.
Robin, Superman, Superboy, Dick Tracy, Space Mobile. They did the Sea View, the submarine. They did the Land of the Giants, Spindrift. They did the little yellow sub from Voyage to the Bottom of the
Yep.
Sea. They had a bunch of stuff that was pretty cool. And then Aurora also did the Rat Patrol set, which was a fantastic kit.
I built that.
Which
Yep.
with the molded desert and
Yep.
everything, and you had half
Yeah.
tracks and the Jeeps. That
It
was
was
the
more
other
like a
thing,
diorama. Yep.
exactly like a diorama,
Yeah.
and that was a phenomenal. That was and they were on scale with the Airfix soldiers, so you had there
Never.
was like
I haven't thought of that in forever.
incredible. And oh shit, what was I? No, I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, but I was looking over some of that stuff. And then all those crazy. There was the Dave Deal cars, which were sort of the uh, almost sort of grotesque
Yep.
cars with the weird
Oh yeah, yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Um, and then all the Barris stuff, the bathtub buggy,
Yeah,
and then there
yeah.
was the garbage truck and Rommel's rod, which of course,
Built that. I built that. Yep.
You
With
did.
I
uh,
love the skeletons driving.
the skeletons
Oh,
driving
that was so
with the
awesome. Yep.
and the Boot Hill Express
Yep.
and
With the hearse.
those
Yep.
Plus, they had all the Ratfink stuff and the Ed Rock
graphic
stuff.
shit was great. That
Yeah.
stuff was really really good. And then some of the weird yeah, those weird kind of, and Marx made them too, like their little statues, which I have all of those, all the Man from Uncle, the little 6 inch. The Marvel ones go for a lot of money. I've got copies of all of those, but there's the Vikings and the Indians and the cavemen and the cowboys. Those things are fantastic.
Really cool.
Boy, you just list like all the stuff that we're into. I don't think we've ever met many people who are into so many of the things we're into.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Let alone someone who has a whole other life,
Yeah,
that's
doing
way more
something else
involved.
something amazingly cool. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But I mean, we cannot thank you enough for being on with this. We're doing this for like 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is amazing. We cannot thank you enough.
Well, then in Rhode Island, obviously we're going to build in some serious. Let's go to a place. We'll have to start our dinner at around 5
Yep.
because we'll be closing the place down.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. We'd love to do that. Maybe we'll figure out doing like 2010 discussion in a few
Outland.
months
We'll
or
talk
something.
about maybe in a couple of months we'll talk Outland. So
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what I meant. I meant Outland.
We'll pick. Guys, got to get that 4K
Yeah.
Ultra copy because it's a really, really, really good print. And even though I know a lot of stuff is broadcast, 4K Ultra on Apple TV,
Not the same.
No, I
the
agree.
difference.
I love watching a 4K Blu-ray in my theater downstairs. And people don't get it. Like, you buy Blu-rays? I'm like, yeah, it's a completely. I don't care how they stream it. It's a completely different
It's still
experience.
compressed no matter what you do.
Yeah, I
when
just
you're streaming,
watched
so.
the new Jaws came out on 4K, and it's a whole different experience.
No, completely,
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. They, my big wish list is that they'll go back and re-release the original theatrical versions of the Star Wars films before they went in.
They are. Well, I
And
just heard something, they were talking about it on another podcast. They are supposed to be coming in the theaters, and then the thought is maybe they'll come out
Yeah, well, they're re-releasing Star Wars for the anniversary this
to
coming
the
May.
original.
And Lucasfilm hasn't said it, but all the speculation
Yes.
is, and there's leaked footage out there of it restored, and it looks unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like,
So
because they did a screening a few months ago in London.
Yes.
They actually had an unaltered print, and Kathleen Kennedy actually went over and introduced it. So they're definitely working on something.
yeah, it's time to do that. It's ridiculous. I mean, look, when we saw it, I can remember, at least I saw it when it came out in theaters. You could see the matte
Sure.
lines and
oh
stuff.
yeah,
But also when I was seeing, I saw that film late. It had already been out for over a month.
me too.
So
It had
so
it was in that many theaters back then. Yeah.
they had run the shit out of it, and God knows how many prints they had of it.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Yeah.
and I saw it in Augusta, Maine. So it was probably like the shittiest print that
Yeah.
existed out there. I never got to see it but I just feel like, put all three films back to their original thing. Yeah, clean them up. That's fine. We don't have to see the matte things, but also,
Don't change anything. Clean it.
Don't
fix
add
it,
any
whatever.
other crap. Supposedly they're going back to the original effects shots and sort of just,
sharpening
Taking the
up.
rough edges
taking
off
the
is
rough
all I
edges
need.
off. So
Yeah,
that's
and no bullshit with Greedo firing first.
No,
and all,
none of
it's
that.
like,
no McConkie
Insane
or whatever
McClunky.
the hell.
Adding random shit in the background.
But the thought is they'll release those in the theaters in 27, and then we'll see 4Ks. I mean, we have sort of
No, 26. We're getting Star Wars next year.
They said 27 for the 50th anniversary.
No, we're getting it next year.
Are we? Interesting.
Sure.
Talk to Filoni. He's in charge of that shit. Tell him, dude.
you get on that.
You got to get on that.
I know.
But
Yeah,
there is a
gotta work
pretty
that.
good compilation print that it's like a bootleg. We all watched, right? That thing that Brian got us.
Yeah, well, the fans took it upon themselves to take the original versions off the laser discs and clean them up. So those are out there. You can
And
get.
they're pretty good.
Yeah, it's called the
Despecialized edition.
despecialized edition.
I've got the original laser discs.
Oh, yeah.
So and then I've got, before they decided to add in all that stuff, I have, but they're kind of piss poor DVDs
Yeah.
of the three films.
Yep.
With nothing added, none of the stupid Jabba or any of that stuff
Yeah.
whatsoever. but it would be great to see those fully restored.
Yeah.
That to me,
We're gonna see that. I think we're gonna. So
It seems like we're definitely going to see that based on everything that's been leaking out.
yeah,
good.
well, that's cool.
That'll be good.
All right.
Yeah.
But
'em
again,
leak.
we can't thank you enough.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Anything you want to talk about? We know we've got the Westies
we
coming
really
up.
didn't talk about your work much, but anything you want to plug?
Well, this is my work. No, I don't have a release date. All I can say is that it was a great cast. It was great working with J.K. and Vincent Walsh and Sarah Bolger and Tom Brittany. I'm trying to think who else. Richard Schiff
Oh, wow.
came on and did a bit. We had Stanley Morgan. We had Jessica Francis too. Really good, and JK's great in it. And it's JK's he's fantastic. He's great. It's just but it's one of those things. It's like I would get JK Tourette's. He wouldn't be on set, and I would find myself being like in between things going, yeah, you guys want to hurry to fuck up? I mean, how fucking long are we here for our fucking health? Because I want to go back to my trailer and watch the fucking baseball game. The Tigers are playing. Yeah, he'd be like, you fucker, you're gonna do it for me one day. And I go, dude, it's not an effort on my part. It just comes out. It just comes out. I mean, I would look at him sometimes. We had this thing of wanting to always cross shoot stuff. I'd literally say to him in his own voice, I go, yeah, what do you think? Should we fucking gonna cross shoot this thing or what? And it didn't even register with him or with me. And then somebody would laugh and I'd go, what? And they were like, you realize that when you talk to JK, you're talking to JK as JK.
Oh my God.
But yeah, when we get a release date and everything, we get up and out, I'll come back. But in the meantime, get on Outland to be discussed in the near future.
We will watch that and we'll reach out. That's awesome. So
100%.
Yeah.
And thank you for my. I look forward to my vest. I will rock it with pride. And thank you again for the
wear it responsibly.
Yeah.
Wear it responsibly.
Yeah, wear it responsibly.
If you're mistaken as an astronaut, that's on you. That's all good.
So,
but
I'll wear it with my Boba Fett helmet out somewhere. We'll see what happens.
Well, the wife can be sure no one's going to recognize you then.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, that's
all
good
right. Well, thank you again, Titus, and
thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care, guys. It was awesome.